Chapter 2177. He might not lie to Boss Bai, but to reveal his own weakness. The Hidden House Summit is already over. Even if everyone knows that he doesn't know alchemy, so what? It won't affect him at all. Right Xintian analyzed. Moreover, at the Hidden House Summit, what Lin Yi said might not be a lie. He said he doesn't know alchemy, so maybe it's true. If that's the case, we've missed a good opportunity. At the Hidden House Summit, he actually forfeited the alchemy competition that was supposed to be in the bag. Right Coiling Tiger's last hope was shattered. Originally, he lied to himself and thought that Right Xintian would agree with his deduction that Lin Yi was pretending not to know alchemy. But now, it seemed that Lin Yi really didn't know alchemy. Moreover, Lin Yi had no reason to lie to Boss Bai, just like what Right Xintian said. So, what if he wasn't an alchemist? Whether or not Lin Yi was an alchemist, his other abilities were there for all to see. Those hidden houses that had a grudge against Lin Yi wouldn't dare to touch him, so be it. Our hidden house of Yu doesn't lack treasures, nor do we lack money. Right Xintian said. The only thing you need to be sure of now is whether the information in Lin Yi's hands is Boss Bai's alchemist notes or not. That should be it. Boss Bai admitted it himself. Right Coiling Tiger said, unless Boss Bai and Lin Yi are working together to lie, but the possibility of that is very small. That's good. What do you think we should pay to get that information back? Right Xintian also felt that since Boss Bai had admitted it, there wouldn't be any more problems. The key was that, in his opinion, someone with such high prestige like Boss Bai wouldn't lie with Lin Yi. It's very difficult. Right Coiling Tiger said. This time is different from last time. Lin Yi's vigilance is very high. He doesn't seem to have any intention of playing hard to get. More importantly, we don't have anything that can move Lin Yi's heart. Whatever we can take out, Lin Yi may not even be interested in it. It's also impossible for us to give him a medicinal cauldron. Lin Yi already has a first-grade and second-grade medicinal cauldron. We can't possibly exchange a third-grade medicinal cauldron, right? Even our hidden right family doesn't have many of those. That's naturally impossible, Yu Xintian said. A third-grade cauldron is a treasure. It can't be exchanged no matter what. But you're right. This time, Lin Yi won so many treasures at the Hidden House Summit. He wouldn't be interested in ordinary things. That's right. Eldest uncle, there's still something I don't understand. Since Lin Yi doesn't know how to refine pills, why does he want our medicine cauldron? Also, why didn't he exchange pills with us at the Hidden House Summit? You Coiling Tiger still couldn't figure out what Lin Yi's intention was. Perhaps it's to deliberately make us lose in the Hidden House Summit's alchemy competition. Lin Yi is really capable of doing that. Yu Xintian thought about it and felt that this was the only reasonable reason. Probably, Yu Coiling Tiger said, I'll go test Lin Yi's intentions in the afternoon. If there's a possibility of an exchange, then we'll discuss the conditions. All right, I'll discuss it with your grandfather. Yu Xintian nodded. After hanging up, just as Yu Xintian was about to pay his respects to Old Man Yu, a very distinguished guest came to the Hidden Right family. He was so distinguished that even Old Man Yu had to personally receive him. Moreover, this guest was sitting while Old Man Yu stood respectfully at the side. Young Master Tian, your presence brings light to our Yu family. Old Man Yu was pleasantly surprised. He didn't expect the person to be the young master of the heavenly elixir sect, Sky Silkworm Transformation. You're too polite, Old Man Yu. Sit down and talk. Sky Silkworm Transformation said faintly. The Hidden Right family has always had a good relationship with our heavenly elixir sect. They have also contributed a lot to our heavenly elixir sect. Sky Silkworm Transformation's face was very delicate. He was a handsome man through and through. However, no matter how you looked at him, he gave off a feminine feeling. There was a hint of evil in his eyes that made people not dare to look directly at him. Behind him was a very ordinary-looking old man, wearing ordinary coarse clothes. However, even though this old man looked ordinary, he was an expert at the peak late stage of heaven class. It was enough to show how much importance the heavenly elixir sect placed on this young master. Thank you, young master. Old man, you was a little fearful. The old man at the peak late stage of heaven class behind Sky's silkworm transformation didn't even sit down, but he sat down first. This also showed that the young master still valued the Yu family. Last time, the marrow and bone cleansing pill that your Yu family contributed was very good. After my grandfather's verification, it is indeed a rare ancient single recipe, Sky's silkworm transformation said with a trace of disappointment in his eyes. However, there is a prerequisite to refine the pill on this pill recipe. This is also the reason why I came here. The reason why Sky's silkworm transformation valued this pill recipe so much was because it was very important to the heavenly elixir sect. It was so important that it was irreplaceable. For so many years, the heavenly elixir sect had been searching for this pill recipe. Now that they had found it, they couldn't refine it. This was the most painful thing. The recipe for the marrow and bone cleansing pill was only a third-grade recipe. In theory, if the heavenly elixir sect's patriarch, who was the grandfather of the heavenly silkworm transformation, refined it, the success rate would be very high, but he failed. The medicinal ingredients on it were rare, but he still failed. This made Sky's silkworm transformation very depressed. As a result, he couldn't rush to refine the pill. Instead, he checked many ancient books and finally found some clues. In order to successfully refine the marrow and bone cleansing pill, there was a prerequisite. The person refining the pill must be an alchemist with a pure constitution. In other words, only an alchemist who had consumed the marrow and bone cleansing pill could refine the marrow and bone cleansing pill. Although Heaven and Earth Man did not know how the first marrow and bone cleansing elixir was refined and how the person who refined it succeeded without taking the marrow and bone cleansing elixir, this question was like the chicken or the egg. There was no way to verify it. Heaven and Earth Man did not bother to think about it. He just wanted to find a person who had taken the marrow and bone cleansing elixir and take him into the heavenly elixir sect. He wanted to train him to become a powerful alchemist and refine the marrow and bone cleansing elixir. Chapter 2178. But no matter how difficult it was for the Sky Elixir sect, they had to make it. The pill was a huge part of their plan, and they couldn't afford to make any mistakes. Oh, what's the prerequisite? Elder Yu asked solemnly when he saw Silkworm Change's serious expression. Do you have any more of these pills? Silkworm Change asked. If there were more, and more than 5 of them, then they wouldn't have to find anyone or train any alchemists. Even if there was only one, it wouldn't be a problem. They just had to give it to the Sky Elixir sect. Never heard of it. Old Man Yu shook his head. This bone and marrow cleansing pill was originally called the Pill of Life Extension and Toxin Cleansing. It was circulated in the secular world's auctions. The number that was auctioned was very limited, but the Kong family managed to get one. I wonder if they have any more. Oh, how's Kong again? Then I'll have to trouble Elder Yu to contact them. If they haven't taken the Pill of Life Extension and Toxin Cleansing, ask them to bring it over as soon as possible. I'll buy it for 10 times the price. If they've already taken it, ask them to come. If they're above 30, then they don't have to come. Silkworm Change said, yes. Elder Yu was confused as to why people above 30 couldn't use it, but he didn't dare ask. He just nodded and did as he was told. As for the reason why the heavenly silkworm transformation required one to be under 30 years old, it was also because only those under 30 years old had the possibility of being nurtured into an alchemist. If one was too old, it would not be easy for them to even cultivate. So how could they concoct pills? How's Kong? Elder Kong Laikai, Kong Guifeng, and Kong Tsuepu were having a banquet with the Xiao family's 2 brothers. Big brother Xiao Ji, brother Xiao Ben. It's all thanks to you guys that our Xiao family helped us out this time. Otherwise, we'd be done for. Kong Guifeng said gratefully as he raised his glass. Because of Miracle Dr. Guan's new product launch, House Kang's reputation and sales plummeted. Now, they couldn't sell their products at all. Not only that, they had to be investigated every day. In the end, they had to pay a huge sum of money to the consumers to save the company. The Kong family, who had no money at all, couldn't take out a huge sum of money in any case. However, the Xiao family took out the huge sum of money, so the Kong family was very grateful to the Xiao family for standing up for them when they were in danger. That's right. The two Xiao brothers are really returning good for evil. Kong Suepu also said, when our Kong family broke off the engagement, you let bygones be bygones. You helped us when our Kong family was in danger. Thank you so much. Our Xiao family is no longer the aristocratic family of the past. We are merely brothers in hardship. Right now, we can only work together to protect the prestige of the aristocratic family of the past. Xiao Ben's side, although we all have the support of the hidden aristocratic families, right now, that Lin Yi is in the limelight. We are no match for him at all. We can only work together and drag out an ignoble existence. When Xiao Ben said this, he felt a little helpless. Back then, when the Xiao family was still an aristocratic family, it was so awe-inspiring. In the end, it had fallen to the point where it was only slightly stronger than an ordinary family. That's right. Back then, our Kong family was also ambitious. Lin Yi, that little bastard. Dr. Kong gritted his teeth at the mention of Lin Yi's name. One day, this old man will kill him. Xiao Wangba and Xiao Wangdao, as well as Xiaolong and Kong Mingming, were all guests at the banquet. They didn't have much of a say. However, at that moment, Kong Ming's phone rang. Xiaoming, what's going on? Such an important banquet. And you still have your phone on? Kong Guifeng scolded Kong Mingming. Although the Kong family wasn't doing very well now, Grandfather Kong still saw Kong Mingming in a different light. This made him very unhappy. Uncle, it's a call from the hidden house you. Kong Mingming said calmly. Then I'll tell him that my uncle won't let me answer it. Should I let them call later? When Kong Guifeng heard that it was a call from the house you, he was stunned and a little embarrassed. I was just saying, hurry up and answer the phone. It's more important. Kong Mingming pouted and picked up the phone. Hello, I'm Kong Mingming. Kong Mingming, I'm the family head of the house you. Let your grandfather answer the phone. Grandfather, you only had Kong Mingming's phone number in his hand, but he didn't say much to Kong Mingming about such an important matter. Instead, he called Kong Laikai directly. Okay, please wait a moment. Kong Mingming didn't expect Grandfather Yu to call the Kong family directly. This was a good thing. He quickly handed the phone to his grandfather and said respectfully, Grandfather, it's a call from the House Yu's family head. When Dr. Kong heard that it was Grandfather Yu's call, he immediately took the phone in fear and trepidation. He said carefully, Grandfather Yu, it's old Kong. Dr. Kong, there's something I want to ask you. Grandfather Yu said, back then, did your Kong family get a pill of life extension and toxin cleansing? Do you still have this pill? Yes, we did get a pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, but Grandfather Kong suddenly smiled bitterly when he said this. But what? Is there something wrong with this elixir? Old Master Yu asked. There's no problem. It's just that this pill was eaten by a dog. Grandfather Kong didn't dare to hide it and said carefully, What? You're saying that this pill was eaten by a dog? Your family bought the pill and fed it to a dog. Grandfather, you found it a little unbelievable. The Kong family's way of doing things was really strange. We didn't feed it to a dog. It was accidentally eaten by a dog. Grandfather Kong said with a bitter smile, Young master, the Kong family's pill of life extension and toxin cleansing was eaten by a dog. What do you think? Grandfather, you turned to look at Silkworm Change helplessly. Silkworm Change didn't know whether to laugh or cry when he heard this result. It's useless for a dog to eat it. It has to be eaten by a human. Old Master Kong, I'm sorry. It must be eaten by humans for it to be effective. When Old Master you heard that the elixir was eaten by a dog, he lost interest all of a sudden. He said faintly, I don't know if Old Master Kong knows anyone else who has eaten this elixir. Who else has taken this elixir? Old Master Kong frowned. He didn't know why Old Master Yu was asking about this, but he had a sudden inspiration. He really thought of someone. He quickly said, my grandson Kong Ming Ming ate half of this pill. I wonder if it works? Half. Grandfather Yu was stunned and turned to look at Silkworm Change. Chapter 2179. Old Master Kong, ask Kong Ming Ming to come to our hidden house of you as soon as possible. I will send the address to Kong Ming Ming's phone and ask him to drive over immediately. Old Master Yu said, okay, I will go with Xiaoming as soon as possible. Although Old Master Kong didn't know what the hidden house of you meant, there was no harm in contacting the house of you. No need. Kong Ming Ming alone is enough. Old Master Yu said, the matters of the heavenly elixir sect were all confidential. He naturally couldn't say anything, nor could he let too many people come. Alone? That's fine, I'll ask him to go now, Old Master Kong said. Old Master Yu didn't say anything more, and hung up. As for Old Master Kong, although he was puzzled, he still hurriedly asked Kong Ming Ming to get ready and rush to the hidden house of you. In the afternoon, when Linny returned to the classroom, Wang Xinyan was focused on her book on her seat, and Han Jingjing was also calculating something on her tablet. Linny walked over and put the alchemist notes that Boss Bai gave him on Han Jingjing's table. This is an alchemist's notes. Take a look and learn from it. Okay, thank you, Linny, bro. Han Jingjing put down the tablet and was just about to pick up the information Lin Yi gave her when someone darted over with a whoosh, giving Han Jingjing a fright. Lin Yi, didn't you say that this information can't be shown to others? Why did you show it to Han Jingjing? Yupanu had just entered the classroom and saw the scene of Lin Yi giving the information to Han Jingjing. He suddenly became excited, as if he had been injected with a stimulant, directly rushing in front of Lin Yi, pointing at Lin Yi and questioning. What? You're thinking too much. Lin Yi's hands were even faster, picking up the information on the table and hiding it behind him. He said lightly, I gave her something else, not an alchemist's notes. Ha, Lin Yi, you're confessing now, aren't you? Notes of an apothecary? Didn't you tell me that you still had the same information you showed me last time? How did it become an alchemist's notes? Right Coiling Tiger seemed to have grasped Lin Yi's weakness and shouted excitedly. Moreover, how did you know that I was talking about the alchemist's notes? I'm just talking about the information, but you're so detailed. Lin Yi. Oh, Lin Yi. Even a wise man can make a mistake. Lin Yi's expression suddenly changed. He frowned and said coldly, so what if you're right? The information is in my hands. I can show it to whoever I want. What does it have to do with you? Hee, it has nothing to do with me, but back in Boss Bai's office. Boss Bai seemed to have instructed you not to show this information to anyone else. Now that you're showing it to Han Jingjing, what's the meaning of this? Right Coiling Tiger thought that he had something on Lin Yi and said proudly, how about this? One person looking at it is the same. 2 people looking at it won't cost you anything. You let me see it too, and I won't report you to Boss Bai. Oh, then you better go. Linny said lightly, you don't have any evidence anyway. This. Right Coiling Tiger didn't think that Lin Yi would reject him so directly. He was really smelly and stubborn. He wanted to get the information, but he really couldn't report him. If he did, no one would be able to see it. Right Coiling Tiger had no choice but to say, Lin Yi, I'm not looking at it for nothing. Just like last time, I can use good treasures to exchange with you. Exchange? I've seen you family's trash at the Hidden Family Summit. There's nothing that I'm interested in, said Lin E. Hee, we don't only have those things. Our Hidden You family is a big business. And we still have some precious treasures. Right Coiling Tiger lowered his voice and said temptingly. Right Coiling Tiger heard Lin Yi's tone and guessed that there was a way. If Lin Yi wanted to refuse, there was no need to say anything that he wasn't interested in. He could just directly refuse. Therefore, in Right Coiling Tiger's view, Lin Yi was actually a little afraid that he would report to Boss Bai. Now that he had shown it to Han Jingjing, there was no harm in showing it to Coiling Tiger. It was just that Right Coiling Tiger didn't have any benefits that could make Lin Yi interested, so Lin Yi refused. Oh, what's there? Lin Yi hesitated and asked. If you want to exchange, I can call my uncle and ask, said Right Coiling Tiger. Lin Yi fell silent, as if he was thinking about the pros and cons of the whole thing. But the more he thought so, the more Right Coiling Tiger felt that this matter was reliable. If this information wasn't very important, Lin Yi wouldn't be so cautious. Tell me first, what treasure do you want to exchange for it? If it's really something good, then... Lin Yi didn't continue, but said, I know. Don't worry, I'll read it myself. I won't say anything. Right Coiling Tiger was overjoyed. He nodded and went back to his seat. Class was about to start. If he continued to stay here, it would definitely arouse Boss Bai's suspicion. Also, he had to discuss with the yellow-haired and purple-haired subordinates what treasure would be better to exchange for it. Forget it, I'll give it to you when we go back tonight. Right Coiling Tiger is watching right now, Lin Yi said to Han Jingjing. And Jingjing knows. Brother Lin Yi is going to trick him again. Han Jingjing nodded. Ha! Lin Yi smiled. Han Jingjing went back to studying her tablet, and Lin Yi turned to Xinyan, hesitating. Xinyan, are you free tonight? Tonight? Xinyan didn't quite understand what Lin Yi meant. And if you're free, let's go watch a movie together. Lin Yi said, Watch a movie together? Xinyan was a little taken aback, but then her face reddened. Was he asking her out? Should she say yes? Xinyan didn't know when she started to feel conflicted she had a fiancé, but she had the urge to say yes. Yeah, it's by Wei Duo's first date with Himewa today, and he asked us to accompany him. Lin Yi said, I see. It seems like there's nothing else. Let's go then. Xinyan breathed a sigh of relief, but also a little disappointed, so Lin Yi wasn't asking her for a date, but for someone else. But this reason was enough for Xinyan to convince herself to accompany Lin Yi to the movie. Chapter 2180. And Xinyan's face reddened as she humphed with a nasal voice. She knew what Lin Yi meant, but she couldn't help but blush. Lin Yi naturally had to tell Meng Yao and Yushu that he was going to watch a movie tonight. He sent them a text explaining the reason. The purple thunderbolt beast was in the villa anyways, and Lin Yi wasn't afraid of anyone harming them. Missy looked at the message on her phone and frowned slightly. Then she passed the phone to Shu, who was beside her. Shield Bro's going on a date with Wong Fox? Yushu said, surprised. It's not Wong Fox. Don't give people nicknames. Wang Xinyan's a good person. Meng Yao didn't hate her, and since she couldn't change it, she could only accept it. Meng Yao felt that Xinyan and Lin Yi being together was far better than a jealous woman. So you're saying that Yao Yao is supporting her? Yushu said, It's not up to me to decide. Meng Yao sighed softly. She was a little troubled. Lin Yi, why didn't he look for a big wife at home if he wanted one? But Meng Yao thought about it. Would she say yes if he looked for her? She and Lin Yi had gone through too many things together, and she couldn't let go of that reserve in her heart. She and Lin Yi were more like good friends. They weren't that close, but they cared about each other a lot. Some things were missed, and Meng Yao didn't know what to do to get them back. She felt that she and Lin Yi were too close, so close that they could only continue being friends. But Could they really only be friends? Yao Yao, what's wrong? Yushu asked, seeing that Meng Yao was in a daze. Nothing. Meng Yao said faintly, Shu, if you like Lin Yi, then don't hesitate. I support you more than Xinyan. Me. Yushu's eyes flashed with a hint of loneliness, but she smiled. My happiness is with Yao Yao. You know, once Yao Yao becomes Shield Bro's wife, I'll be his second wife. But do you really think I'd be the main wife? Meng Yao retorted. Lin Yi doesn't like me. Who said I don't like him? It's just that Sister Yao Yao doesn't take the initiative. Shield Bro doesn't know your feelings, so he doesn't dare to be rash. Besides, he was your bodyguard before. What kind of bodyguard would steal from a lady? Yushu said, now that Shield Bro is no longer a bodyguard, I think Yao Yao sis has a good chance. It's fine. I was just joking. Meng Yao said, backing off a little. Okay, then let Shield Bro continue dating Fox Wong. It doesn't matter if she's one more. As long as she's not a domineering mistress, Shu can still accept it. Yushu said. Kong Ming ran all the way to the hidden house Yu, but the person who received him was not old Yu, but the current head of house Yu Xintian. Greetings, young master Yu. Kong Ming greeted politely. No need to be so polite. Xiaoming, follow me. Yu Xintian seemed to be in a hurry. As soon as Kong Ming arrived, he quickly brought him to a secret room. This secret room was the place where old Yu received the young master of Heaven Elixir sect, Sky Silkworm transformation. Kong Xiaoming entered the room and saw old man Yu. He also saw the unbelievably beautiful trap young master and the seemingly ordinary but extremely powerful heaven rank late stage peak master. Xiaoming greets old master Yu. Among them, Kong Xiaoming only knew old master Yu, so he only greeted him. Xiaoming, this is the young master of Heaven Elixir sect, and this is the 5th elder of Heaven Elixir sect. Old Yu quickly introduced to Kong Ming. Kong Ming's heart skipped a beat. He didn't expect the person in this room to be so powerful. He quickly knelt on the ground. Xiaoming greets young Master Tian, 5th elder, Kong Ming of House Kong, right? Don't be nervous. Get up and talk. Sky Silkworm transformation waved his hand and said lightly, speaking of which, you're a great contributor to our Heaven Elixir sect. You gave us the recipe for the bone cleansing pill. That's just something I got by chance. It's not worth mentioning. Kong Ming's heart raced. It seemed that young Master Tian didn't have any ill intentions towards him, so this should be a good thing. 5th uncle, check his physique. Sky Silkworm transformation ordered the 5th elder. Yes, the 5th elder moved like lightning, grabbed Kong Ming's wrist, and checked it carefully. Although Kong Ming didn't see how the 5th elder came to his side, he was still very cooperative. Anyway, there was nothing he could do if the other party wanted to harm him here. It was better to wait and see what they were going to do. The physique is very pure, and it can basically meet the requirements, but there is a little kidney deficiency. In his body, there is wood attribute, no fire attribute. The 5th elder reported Kong Ming's physique expressionlessly. There is actually wood attribute. This surprised Sky Silkworm transformation. He was prepared that Kong Xiaoming was a complete idiot when it came to alchemy, but he didn't expect him to have a wood element in his body. If that was the case, one flaming sun pill would be enough to solve this problem. As for the kidney deficiency, it wasn't a problem in Sky Silkworm transformation's eyes. The Heavenly Elixir sect just gave him some pills to recuperate. Yes, there is wood attribute. The 5th elder nodded. Good, very good. Sky Silkworm transformation was very happy. He didn't expect this matter to be solved so easily. He originally thought that it would take a lot of effort. Although Kong Ming didn't know what these people were talking about, he didn't dare to ask, so he waited there quietly without saying a word. Kong Ming, are you willing to become a core disciple of our Heavenly Elixir sect? The 5th elder will accept you as a disciple, and my grandfather will personally guide you in alchemy? Sky's silkworm transformation looked at Kong Ming Ming and asked, "Ah." Kong Ming Ming was a little dumbfounded. He didn't expect a pie to fall from the sky, and it was a big pie. Join the Heavenly Elixir sect and become a disciple of the Heavenly Elixir sect and a core disciple. The most important thing was that there was an elder as a master. And if that wasn't enough, there was also Sky Silkworm Transformation's grandfather to guide him. This treatment was much better than that of ordinary disciples of the ancient sections. If Kong Ming Ming worked hard, there would definitely be a seat for him in the future. An elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect. Just thinking about it made people's blood boil. Chapter 2181. Otherwise, why would Sky Silkworm Transformation accept Yu Panhu as a disciple? Why would they accept Kong Xiaoming? Young sect master Tian, may I ask what I need to pay? Kong Ming Ming asked carefully. Pay? You just need to focus on learning alchemy. You don't have to worry about anything else. Of course, if you have talent, then your future position in the Heavenly Elixir sect will be unimaginable. If you don't have talent, then I'm sorry, you can only go back to where you came from. I will work hard. Kong Ming Ming's heart tightened as he quickly said, anyone can say good words. The rest is up to you. Sky Silkworm said. Then I'll call my family and tell them the good news? Kong Xiaoming asked. You don't have to tell them first. I'll let old Yu inform your Kong family. You are helping the Yu family with something. Sky Silkworm said. You must keep this a secret. Of course, if you have some achievements and become an alchemist that satisfies me, I will let you return home in glory. I will guarantee that your Kong family will become a hidden family that can stand side by side with the Yu family. If you can't hold up the mud on the wall, then you don't need to say anything to anyone. Yes, Kong Ming Ming originally wanted to go home and show off, but after hearing what Sky Silkworm said, he knew that this was probably a secret. If he did well and became an alchemist, he could return home in glory as an alchemist, but he couldn't mention what he was going to do. So if it was done, then everything would be fine. If it wasn't done, then he would have to scram, and he couldn't say anything. All right, since you've agreed, come back to the Heavenly Elixir sect with me tonight. Sky Silkworm said, remember, when you get there, don't say anything. What I want you to do is top secret. In the Hidden Yu family, only Old Master Yu knows about it. Yes, please rest assured. Young Sect Master Tian, I will definitely do my best to repay Young Sect Master Tian's kindness. Kong Ming Ming said quickly. Fifth uncle, take him down first. Sky Silkworm ordered the fifth elder. Yes, young master. Elder Wu took Kong Ming Ming to rest first. At this moment, only Old Man Yu and Silkworm Transformation were left in the room. Old Right, your hidden family's performance in this Hidden Family Summit seems to be very poor, said Sky Silkworm Transformation. Yeah, I've let down Young Sect Master Tian's expectations. Old Man Yu smiled bitterly. No one expected that there would be a dark horse like Lin Yi. Silkworm nodded when he heard the name. This wasn't the first time he'd heard of this name. The Sky Elixir sect had their own information network, and they knew a thing or two about Lin Yi, the heir of Ice Palace, Xiao Xiao's boyfriend. That Lin Yi is too strong, and the ancient level doesn't allow us to do things on our own. So, Old Man, you carefully observed Silkworm Transformation's expression. Well, although our Heavenly Elixir sect and the Heavenly Silkworm Transformation paused and didn't continue. Instead, he changed the topic and said, however, in the antiquity times, we don't have the final say. In short, before the Heavenly Rank meeting, the least we can do is to avoid trouble. That day is getting closer and closer. If we seize it, the entire strength of the antiquity times will have a qualitative breakthrough. Yes, Old man, you thought that it was a good thing he didn't do anything during the meeting. From what I know, that Lin E is only an Earth class. Can't you guys do anything to him? Silkworm Transformation asked curiously. It's true that Lin E is only an Earth class mid-phase master, but he has some unique skills and killing moves that allow him to fight against enemies who are a few levels higher than him. That's why we don't dare to act rashly. Elder, you said. Oh, what do you mean? Silkworm Transformation asked. Actually, before this, our Hidden House You, and Hidden House Xiao teamed up to encircle and annihilate Lin E. Old man, you said bitterly, I know about this. You told us that you guys failed. Silkworm Transformation naturally knew about this, but he was too lazy to ask about the details. He had a lot of things to do every day, and he didn't have time to pay attention to a small character like Lin E. Yes, we failed, but I didn't tell you the details. Lin E killed 3 Earth class masters in one move, and one of them was even in the late phase of Earth class. Old man, you said, just one move. Oh, one move. Silkworm Transformation's expression changed slightly. Killing 3 Earth class masters in one move. Even he couldn't help but be moved. He was known as the most talented genius in the history of the Sky Elixir sect. Not only was he good at alchemy, but he was also very good at martial arts. But even he didn't dare say that he could kill 3 masters of the same level when he was still in Earth class, and their levels were slightly higher, yes, and this time at the Hidden House Summit, Linny also made a shocking move. Old man, you didn't hide anything and told Silkworm Transformation about the battle between Lin E and Mott Dashin, as well as with Jin Dao in detail. This Lin E is really good, but there is one thing I don't understand. When he fought with Jin Dao, why didn't he finish the battle in one move like he did with Ma Dashin? Silkworm Transformation was a smart person, and he immediately saw that something was wrong. I don't know, but the whole situation was like this. I repeated the process truthfully. Old man, you actually wanted Silkworm Transformation to understand more about Lin E and find out Lin Yi's weakness. According to what you said, the situation is indeed a bit strange. Silkworm Transformation nodded. If you want to deal with Lin E, don't do it for now. If it's really like what you said, even if you go in person, you might not be Lin Yi's opponent. This naturally. Old man, you smiled awkwardly. If he had the confidence, he would have participated in intercepting Lin E outside the manor. Not intercepting meant that he didn't have the confidence. About Lin E, after I go back, I will report to our Sky Elixir Sect's War God Temple Protector and ask him to help analyze the situation, Silkworm Transformation said. The Sky Elixir Sect was one of the largest sects in the ancient times. It was divided into Alchemy Hall and War God Temple. The Alchemy Hall specialized in alchemy, and of course the elders in it also had high attainments in martial arts. The War God Temple specialized in battle and defense of the Sky Elixir Sect. The protectors in it specialized in martial arts, but they also knew a little about alchemy, but they weren't authoritative. Chapter 2182. Thank you, young Master Tian. Thank you for your trouble. Old Master, you said quickly. Your hidden house has contributed a lot to the Sky Elixir Sect. We can't attack your enemies directly, but it's fine for us to give you some advice, Silkworm said. Linny didn't know that he was being watched by the Sky Elixir Sect. In the blink of an eye, it was time for school to end. Lin E, Xinyan, Han Jingjing, and Bai Weituo left the classroom together. Song Xiaodao, on the other hand, was alone. This guy had been acting mysteriously lately. It was said that he had his eyes on a girl from another school, and he'd be waiting at her school every day. Lin E sent Han Jingjing to the Jeep Cherokee and gave her the car keys, and the notes boss Bai gave him. He told her to wait for the Miss Shu and her brother in the car. Then he went to the boxing club with Xinyan and Bai Weiduo. The Audi Q7 was still parked in front of the boxing club's gym. Bai Weiduo had He Mei Wei, Chai Shaoling, and Zhao Xingji wait there. In the afternoon, Zhao Xingji went to the school hospital for a checkup. Under the amazed gazes of the doctors, he went through the discharge procedures. The doctors were all secretly puzzled. Could it be that obese people had too much nutrition? Even broken bones could recover so quickly? What happened in the boxing club at noon wasn't known to the students in school, but everyone in the boxing club knew about it. Li Biaohan and Gao Lutong had told them to stay away from Lin Yi's group in the future and not to provoke them. So when Lin Yi's group arrived in front of the gym, the boxing club members all looked at Lin Yi in awe. Someone who could send Li Biaohan and Gao Lutong to the hospital was definitely not someone they could mess with. This boxing club sure is nice. There's a private parking lot in front of the door. Even our cars have to be parked in the parking lot in front of the school. It's so far from the biology building and dorms. Bai Weidua looked at the big P sign and the words Boxing Club Exclusive in front of the boxing club with envy. Then we'll stop here from now on. After Lin Yi said that, he pointed at the entrance of the boxing club, not far away. It was the lackey who had tipped Gao Lutong off in the afternoon. You come here for a moment. The little brother was about to go back to the dormitory. He didn't expect to run into Lin Yi as soon as he went out. He was shocked. He thought that Lin Yi was going to beat him up because of what happened at noon. He was a little scared. When he saw Lin Yi, his legs couldn't move. He asked with fear, "Brother, did you call me?" "Nonsense. Does anyone else here know me?" Lin Yi said, "Yes, they all know you. Brother Biaohan and Brother Gao both told us not to provoke you." The underling said carefully, "Oh, your parking lot is pretty good. Help me tell Li Biaohan that I'm using it. Our car will be parked here from now on." There are still a few cars that need to be parked in a few days. Ask him to help me look after the cars. If the cars are scratched, ask him to compensate me. Lin Yi said, Yes. The underling was cursing in his heart. Aren't you a little too overbearing? Forget about using the parking lot. After all, this is also the school's territory. But you're still asking us to look after the cars. If the cars are scratched, you're still asking us to pay for it. Isn't this a little too much? However, as a little brother, it wasn't appropriate for him to say much. After all, his two bosses were in the hospital. He didn't want to follow in their footsteps. He was just going to pass the message. Whether it was okay or not, it was up to his bosses to negotiate with Lin. It had nothing to do with him. Not long after, Zhao Xingji, Chai Xiaoling, and Himewa arrived. Li Biaohan's Audi Q7 was a 7-seater version with high specs. It was more than enough to seat 6 people. Bai Weidua had booked a movie theater. So naturally, Bai Weidua drove to lead the way. This car is really cool to drive. It's much better than the cars in driving school. Bai Weidua said sincerely, "Boss is really amazing. Not only did you get a car, but now you even have a parking space and a little brother to look after the car." All right, don't be so cocky. Drive your car properly. Himewa also heard about what happened at noon. She felt a little strange about Bai Weidua and the others getting a car for no reason. Lin Yi was actually so amazing. He was really hiding his strength. No wonder such a beautiful girl like Wang Xingyan was captured. Okay, Bai Weidua said quickly. Chapter 2183. He pushed the door open and pushed Bai Weidua. "Do you know how to drive? Are you blind? Do you know whose car this is? I think you don't want to live anymore." I didn't do it on purpose. Plus, I was about to reverse, and you stole my parking space. Otherwise, I wouldn't have hit you. Bai Weidua frowned. He felt wronged by the other party's overbearing attitude. Even if it was his fault for crashing the car, they might not be completely right? Stole parking space? This is a public parking space. Does it belong to you? It belongs to whoever came first. Come in first if you can. It's my fault that I hit you. The other party's owner pouted arrogantly. Fine, we'll take full responsibility. I'll call the insurance company to fix the car. Is that okay? Bai Weiduo took full responsibility after all. He could only swallow his anger. Fix the car? Don't you see that the car is new? It hasn't been registered yet. Did you just get the car today? It's new and you want to fix it? Would you do it if it were you? The other party's owner glared. Then what do you want? Bai Weiduo said helplessly. My Master Bing's car is new. It's 5 million. Take out 5 million and I'll sell it to you. The other party's owner said. Aren't you blackmailing me? Bai Weiduo was stunned. He didn't expect the other party to make such a request. Blackmail? It's fine if you think so, but you have to take out the money. The other party's owner said arrogantly, no one has come out unscathed after crashing into Master Bing's car. In fact, the other party's owner was blackmailing him. The car's original price was only 1 million. 5 million was just a random price. Bai Weiduo didn't expect the other party to be like this. If you're going to be so unreasonable, I'll call the police. Call the police, do what you want. But I'll remember your face. Don't think about staying in East Ocean City in the future. You still have your friends. TSK? The other party's owner said slowly. Lin Yi didn't want to get out of the car at first, but when he saw that Bai Weiduo couldn't solve the problem and the driver was trying to blackmail him, Lin Yi knew that he had to get out of the car. Previously, in Lin Yi's opinion, this was just an ordinary traffic accident. He just needed to find the insurance company to repair the car, but he didn't expect so many troubles. You mean, you want us to buy this car? Lin Yi looked at the owner of the car and asked. In fact, the other party's request was not unreasonable, but the price of the Cayenne with this configuration was only about 1 million yuan. He was obviously blackmailing them by asking for 5 million yuan. That's right, 1,500,000, and we'll forget about today's matter. Otherwise, you'll be in for it. The owner of the car said arrogantly. However, when his gaze fell on Lin Yi, he let out a quack and was speechless. Lin Yi frowned, thinking that there must be something wrong with this person. Why was he so surprised? However, he heard the other party ask carefully, you're Lin Yi? You know me? Lin Yi looked at the person in front of him strangely. Lin Yi didn't know him at all. The driver cried bitterly in his heart after hearing the admittance. What bad luck. Why did he have to blackmail this guy? Out of all the people he could have blackmailed, Lin Yi looked at the person in front of him. He didn't know him, but he raised his hand and knocked on the window of the Cayenne. You're just a driver. Tell your master to come down and talk to me. Let's see what we should do with this car. Zhao Qibing didn't want to interfere when he saw his underling acting tough outside, but when he saw a familiar silhouette coming down from the Audi Q7, he knew that something was wrong. He prayed that his follower would be smart enough to turn a big problem into a small one and leave quickly. He didn't want to argue with Lin Yi, but he didn't think that Lin Yi would knock on the window. Zhao Qibing had no choice but to get out of the car, helplessly. He smiled and greeted Lin Yi. Hi, Zhao Qibing? Lin Yi didn't think that the person in the car would be Zhao Qibing. Although he heard the driver say something like Master Bing, there were many people who called him Master Bing, so Lin Yi didn't think that it would be such a coincidence. The reason why Lin Yi knocked on the window was because the driver didn't mean anything. If Lin Yi wanted to talk, he would talk to the person in the car. Boss Lin Yi, this is actually a misunderstanding. Zhao Qibing glared at the driver. The driver was helpless. How would he know that Lin Yi was sitting in the Q7? If he knew, he wouldn't try to blackmail Bai Weiduo. He might even apologize and pay him some money. You want to sell this car to me, right? Lin Yi pointed at the Porsche Cayenne. Ugh, I'm just joking. Zhao Qibing's legs started hurting when he saw Lin Yi. He didn't know if he was suffering from rheumatism. I'm not joking with you. Give me the keys and the paperwork. I'll buy the car. Lin Yi said. Ugh, Boss Lin Yi, I'm just joking. Zhao Qibing was a little scared. If he sold the car to Lin Yi, what would happen to him? Didn't you hear what I said? Lin Yi looked at Zhao Qibing's legs. Your legs are itching again, aren't they? No. Zhao Qinantin, hurry up and give the keys and paperwork to boss Lin Yi. Zhao Qibing had no choice but to order his chauffeur. As for what Lin Yi was going to do, he could only resign himself to fate. All right. The driver, Zhao Qinanyu, quickly took out the keys and paperwork, handing it to Lin Yi. I'll buy the car. I'll owe you the money first. I'll give it to you when I have the money. Lin Yi said, right, you still owe me a few $100 million. Next time you pay me back, deduct this $1,500,000. Ugh. Zhao Qibing thought. As expected, he was up to no good. Buy a car? This was clearly a car robbery. But what could Zhao Qibing say? Even if Lin Yi took the car and broke his legs, he could only resign himself to fate. Zhao Qibing's legs had just healed. He wanted to come out for some fresh air and buy a car for his family. After getting the car, Zhao Qibing hadn't played with women for a long time. He didn't have the chance in the hidden manner. So he wanted to hit on a girl near the cinema. But the moment he parked the car, it was taken away. He didn't have the mood to hit on girls anymore. Why aren't you leaving? Is your leg broken? Lin Yi looked at Zhao Qibing. Go, I'll leave now. Zhao Qibing's heart almost jumped out of his chest. He shivered when he heard Lin Yi mention his leg. Wait. Lin Yi stopped Zhao Qibing. Chapter 2184. Right, your house, Zhao. That Zhao Qikun, who participated in the Ice Palace test with Yushan. Why haven't I seen him in the last couple of days? Lin Yi asked. Lin Yi hadn't seen Qikun at the Hidden House Summit, but he didn't want to expose his relationship with Qikun. After that, Qikun didn't contact Lin Yi, and this made Lin Yi very confused. Where did this guy go? So when he saw Zhao Qibing, he asked casually, Zhao Qikun. Qibing's eyes flashed strangely at the name, but he still shook his head. I haven't seen him in a while. Lin Yi, boss, are you looking for him? Just casually asking. This kid was with Yushan during the test, trying to screw me over. I was planning to teach him a lesson a couple of days ago, Lin Yi said. Oh, Qibing breathed in relief, as long as it wasn't trouble. I don't know, I'm not that close with him. Lin Yi's eyes were flickering as he looked at Qibing. He must be hiding something, but Lin Yi couldn't ask too much. Asking too much would make Qibing suspicious. The kid's IQ wasn't that high, but he wasn't an idiot. If that's the case, then it's fine. I was planning to ask him for some money. Lin Yi waved his hand, signaling Qibing to leave. Qibing quickly left after hearing that everything was fine. He was afraid that Lin Yi might think of something again if he stayed here any longer and break his legs. It wouldn't be worth it. For you, Lin Yi said, as he gave the keys to Xinyan. Ah. Xinyan's eyes widened as she looked at the keys in Lin Yi's hand. For me? Yeah, your car's too small, and it's not convenient to drive it. It's more convenient to have a bigger car, Lin Yi said. He Meiwa looked at Xinyan, a flash of envy in her eyes. This Lin, it was really something getting 2 cars in one day, and he was very generous too, giving one to Bai Weidua and Zhao Xingji, and the other to Xinyan. Xinyan didn't know what to say. She didn't know if she should accept it or not. If she accepted it, then what would her relationship with Lin Yi be? Would she accept such an expensive gift? If she didn't accept it and rejected it, then Lin Yi would feel awkward in front of so many people. And so Xinyan hesitated. She knew that Lin Yi wouldn't care about a car, and she herself didn't care about a car like this. Her sports car wasn't any cheaper than this Porsche Cayenne. But if she accepted it, it would prove that she had an ambiguous relationship with Lin Yi. In fact, Lin Yi really didn't have any other intentions. He got angry when he saw Zhao Qibing. It was just a random car, but now that he had the car, he had no place to deal with it. The Miss and Shu had their own cars, and now in the garage of Lin Yi's villa, There was an Audi S5, a Land Rover 4, a Volkswagen Beetle, and now a Grand Cherokee. So Lin E. and the Miss didn't lack cars, but the genius Han Jingjing had a BMW X5M, but she didn't even drive it, using the excuse of saving gas to ride with Lin E all the time. So Lin E really didn't know who to give the car to. Of course, Lin E wouldn't give it to Himeiwei or Chai Xiaoling for nothing. One car for Bai Weidua and Zhao Xingji was enough, and the only one left was Xinyan. All right, Xinyan hesitated for a while, but she still accepted the keys. So what if her relationship with Lin E wasn't clear? She was only engaged to Zhaolong. She wasn't his wife yet. She didn't have to care about what she did. Did she? Why should she be careful? Xinyan, who had always been submissive, suddenly felt a little rebellious. From her point of view, her relationship with Lin E was already a little ambiguous. So one car wouldn't make a difference. During the military training, their relationship was even more ambiguous. And they sat together every day in school. If Xiaolong wanted to marry her, he'd marry her, and if he didn't, he'd break off the engagement. Xinyan, why do you look so reluctant? Himeiwei smiled. If you don't want it, Ling and I are waiting in line. Ha ha. Xinyan smiled calmly and put away the keys. Boss, you're too amazing. I've lived for so long, and this is the first time I've seen someone so amazing. You don't need to buy a car, and someone gave you a car, and 2 a day. Bai Weidua said sincerely, let's go watch the movie. It's about to start, right? Lin E said, I knew it. Let's go. Bai Weidua looked at the time on his phone and shouted. Bai Weidua had bought a couple package online. It was a couple seat with 3 small partitions and some popcorn, soda, and other things came with it. The entertainment places around the university city had group tickets online, and they catered to the students nearby. This movie theater was filled with students. The 6 of them entered the theater and found the seats according to the group ticket. Bai Weidua took the ticket and went to get his popcorn and other snacks. Xinyan looked at the dimly lit couple seats, blushing a little. This was the first time she went to a movie theater with a boy, and it was a couple seat too. She wasn't used to it. Sitting with Lin E wasn't a big deal. She'd sat with Lin E on the train, on the plane, in the exam hall, in the car, in the classroom, and even in the same tent during the military training. But those were group activities, and this time it was a little different. Xinyan felt a little awkward sitting in the seat, not knowing where to put her hands and feet. There was also a folding door in front of the seat that could be locked from the inside. It was a design that made people's imaginations run wild. Of course, it was not surprising to have such a design in the vicinity of the university town, where there were many universities. Most of the people who came here to watch movies were couples in love. If they did something out of line while watching the movie, it would affect others without concealment, and it would be easy to be seen. Therefore, this folding page was a humane design. If it were normal roommates watching a movie together, they could choose the non-couple seats in the front. But Lin E and Xinyan weren't a couple, and they became a couple because of Bai Weidua's group purchase. Actually, it's my first time watching a movie too, Lin E said with a smile after seeing Xinyan's unnatural expression. Xinyan paused. You and your girlfriend haven't been here before? Chapter 2185. What about you? Xinyan was amused by Lin Yi's words, and the atmosphere lightened up a little. She asked casually, regretting her question the moment she asked it. Why did she ask such a stupid question? My intentions aren't pure, Lin Yi said with a smile. I'm not here to watch a movie. I just want to spend a little more time with you. Just a little more. The first half of Lin Yi's sentence startled Xinyan, but the second half made her relax a little. Was he just treating her as a tool? Was she a tool for him to use? Xinyan's heart skipped a beat when she heard the first half of Lin Yi's words. You don't have to come to the cinema, then. I'll study in the classroom after school, and you can leave a little later, Sin Yan said. But watching a movie isn't a bad experience. I can't get too close to you in the classroom, but it's fine here, Linny said. Sin Yan's heart tightened again. Bai Weiduo came back at that moment with a bunch of snacks in his hands. They were all free snacks from the coupons. He distributed them to Lin Yi, Zhao Xingji, and the others. Boss, Sin Yan, what do you guys want to eat? Bai Weiduo walked over with a bunch of popcorn and stuff. I don't like snacks, you guys. Sin Yan said with a shake of her head. Not at all. Bai Weiduo didn't think that there would be a girl who didn't like snacks. You're welcome. I'm not being courteous. I really don't like snacks. Sin Yan smiled bitterly. I'll just get a box of chewing gum then. All right. Bai Weiduo didn't really have a choice. What about you, Lin Bro? I'm not eating either. Lin Yi wasn't too interested in snacks, and Sin Yan wasn't eating anymore. How could he eat alone? Chapter 2186. It wasn't the first time she'd hugged him. They'd slept like this during military training. It wasn't a big deal, as long as Lin Yi didn't go too far with his hands and feet. She'd just treat it as a friendly hug. Plus, there'd been worse things that had happened during the training. Sin Yan's fragile heart had been ravaged to a certain degree. Lin Yi was just hugging Herb as expected. He didn't do anything out of line or out of line. Sin Yan's tensed heart and stiff body relaxed a little, and she was getting used to it. So, it felt good to be hugged by a guy. Sin Yan comforted herself. Marriage reservations. And whatever, Sin Yan threw all that to the back of her mind. She sat there quietly, enjoying the peace. What was that saying again? Since she couldn't fight back, she might as well enjoy it in peace. Hey, handsome, pretty girl, wanna buy something? A sudden voice broke the silence, and Sin Yan looked at the acne-faced guy who'd popped out of nowhere. She subconsciously moved to the side, trying to put some distance between her and Lin Yi. She felt like she'd been caught in the act. Lin Yi opened his eyes as well. He'd been training in the Jade space, but his consciousness was connected to the outside world. Lin Yi saw this guy's appearance as well. He'd thought it was someone from another booth who'd gone to the washroom, but it turned out to be a merchandiser. Nope, Lin Yi said straightforwardly. Don't be in such a hurry, handsome. Let's see. The acne-faced guy seemed to have expected Lin Yi's rejection, but he wasn't in a rush. He pulled out a couple of boxes from his backpack. Condoms, they're good to use. There's luminous ones, spiral ones, super thin ones, transparent ones, colorful ones. We don't want it. Just leave. Sin Yan blushed as she watched the guy in front of her take out a bunch of condoms. We don't want it. Just leave. Ugh. Don't be shy, pretty girl. These are the real deal, and the quality is top-notch. Lots of couples over there have bought them. The acne guy wasn't expecting Sin Yan to flip out like that, but he still tried his best to sell it. Look, there's a lot of couples around here. You'll hear them if they start doing it later. It'd be bad if they get caught up in the heat of the moment, and someone gets killed because of it. I said I don't want it. Why are you like this? Sin Yan was a little displeased. She was a girl, after all, and they weren't even a couple yet. It was awkward for her to be pushed around like this. Oh, I got it. The acne guy lowered his voice, as if he'd figured something out. Bro, your girlfriend's so pissed off. Are you okay with it? I still have Viagra here. It's super effective. Ahem. Lin Yi was quite troubled, but it wasn't worth it to beat him up. Lin Yi didn't want to waste time with him. He waved his hand and said, All right, I won't buy the medicine. I'll buy one of those condoms you sold earlier. One isn't enough. Bro, you're such a ferocious man. You should at least do it 7 times a night. The acne-faced guy said, Didn't you just say I couldn't do it? Lin Yi was speechless. I was joking. Bro, do you want to buy the combo? One of each. You'll get all kinds of enjoyment. The acne-faced guy took out a self-sealing bag. There was one of each type of condom. All right, how much? Lin Yi asked. 100. The acne-faced guy said. You're quite a scammer. Lin Yi took out 100 kwai and sent the acne-faced guy away. As for the condoms, Lin Yi put it in his coat pocket. He's finally gone. Why did you buy that? Xinyan looked at Lin Yi, a little wary. Would he leave if I didn't buy it? Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. If I don't buy it now, who knows what else he'll come up with. You're right. Xinyan realized that she'd misunderstood Lin Yi. She was a little embarrassed. Why don't we close this folding door? What if there's more to sell later? Sure. Lin Yi was thinking of doing that, but he didn't want Xinyan to think that he was up to no good. He didn't think that Xinyan would bring it up herself. Wang Xinyan was actually quite scared of that guy. Of all the things he could have sold, he had to sell condoms. What an embarrassing thing to do. Lin Yi closed the door casually, and the booth turned into a small private room. There was no light, and Xinyan couldn't help but jump in surprise at what she saw. Let's just think of it as military training in the tent, Lin Yi said. Yeah. Xinyan wasn't as nervous now that Lin Yi was saying she'd been alone with Lin Yi many times already, and there was no need to be on guard all the time. If Lin Yi wanted to do something, he'd have done it a long time ago. He wouldn't have waited until now. Ugh, is it okay if I'm hugging you like this? Lin Yi realized that his left arm was still around Xinyan. Lin Yi had forgotten about that because of the acne-faced guy. You're still talking. Xinyan was a little embarrassed. If there's something, move it away. Yeah, I'll move it away in a bit. Lin Yi smiled. He could tell that Xinyan wasn't really angry. Humph, you're so annoying. You want a foot when you give me an inch. Xinyan humphed and closed her eyes, ignoring Lin Yi. Lin Yi smiled awkwardly as he closed his eyes and continued his training. Xinyan wasn't really annoyed. Actually, if it weren't for Lin Yi mentioning it, she'd have gotten used to the feeling of Lin Yi hugging her, and even forgot that she was in Lin Yi's arms. It was a feeling she was used to and familiar with, and she didn't have much of a resistance against it. Xinyan actually fell asleep in a daze. Perhaps it was because she was too nervous today, or maybe it was because it was too easy to get sleepy in this environment. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was training, and she didn't have much of an interest in it. Xinyan fell asleep, but Lin Yi was shocked to realize that Xinyan's scent was the strongest when she was asleep, and it increased his training speed. Once more, it was a magical phenomenon that made Lin Yi feel like he couldn't stop it. Lin Yi was starting to miss the military training. It'd be great if he could hug Xinyan to sleep every night. But Lin Yi knew that wasn't realistic. Chapter 2187. Lin Yi had a good impression of Xinyan, but Lin Yi didn't know what to say. Xinyan might think that he was after her scent if he said it now, so Lin Yi might as well not say anything and let nature take its course. Plus, he wanted to find some time to ask Xiao Xiao about the main wife and second wife thing, because he always felt like he had a main wife. Could it be that he really didn't have one? The movie ended in a blink of an eye, but Lin Yi didn't stop. Lin Yi didn't want to give up this golden opportunity. If he accidentally woke Xinyan up, the effect would be greatly reduced. But Lin Yi didn't want to disturb them, and yet someone had interrupted them. Knock, knock, knock. There was a knock on the door, followed by Wei Duo's loud voice. Big bro Lin, the movie's over. Aren't you coming out? Lin Yi opened the door helplessly, and Wei Duo and Zhao Xingji, on the other hand, stuck their heads into the room curiously. Xinyan, who was in Lin Yi's arms, was woken up as well. She stretched and rubbed her eyes sleepily. Is the movie over? There's something going on. Wei Duo looked at Xinyan in Lin Yi's arms, a strange smile on his face. Boss, you can't deny it now, can you? You're hugging each other to sleep. Yeah, I wonder if you did anything to waste your energy before? How could you fall asleep watching a movie otherwise? Zhao Xingji had a suggestive smile on his face as well. Nothing like that. Lin Yi smiled faintly and let go of Xinyan. The movie's so boring, we were all asleep. Boring? It was really good. Himewa looked at Lin, Yi, and Xinyan mischievously. Xinyan, do you deny it this time? Deny what? Xinyan was a little embarrassed. Deny your relationship with Lin, Yi. Himewa said, We're good friends. Xinyan blushed. Can good friends hug and sleep together? Himewa asked back. We always slept together during military training. It's not a big deal. Xinyan wanted to explain, but realized that she'd let it slip. Himewa and Xiaoling's eyes went wide, and by Wei Duo and Zhao Xingji understood. So there was an affair all along. That's not right. You were hiding it all along. Himewa said, All right, the movie's over. Let's go back early. Lin Yi said faintly, not answering. By Wei Duo, Himewa and the others didn't think too much about it. They walked out of the cinema and went to the parking lot. Only then did they remember that they had 2 cars now. Xinyan, you take one, and by Wei Duo the other. Lin Yi said, Yeah. Xinyan nodded. And so Lin Yi, Zhao Xingji, and Bai Weiduo took one car, while Xinyan, Chai Xiaoling, and Himewa took the other. The 2 cars headed to school together. Boss, you're not a good friend. You don't want to admit it. Bai Weiduo said, after getting in the car, let's not talk about me. Let's talk about you guys. How is it? Have you made any progress? Asked Lin Yi. Me, don't even mention it. I won't even let you touch my hand. Bai Weiduo sighed. Looks like I need to continue working hard. I've made some progress. Chai Xiaoling let me kiss her. Of course, it's nothing compared to boss. Zhao Xingji said. Me and Wang Xinyan. Lin Yi wanted to say that there really wasn't anything going on between them, but decided against it. Forget it, let's not talk about that. Lin Yi got out of the car at the school gate. Lin Yi didn't live in the dorm, so he walked from the school gate to the Shueshang district. It wasn't far from here. When he got home, Meng Yao and Yushu were watching TV in the living room, while Grandma's son was cleaning the house. Mr. Lin, you're back. I'm going to do some laundry. Do you want your jacket washed? Grandma's son asked. Sure. Lin Yi took off his jacket and handed it to Grandma's Sunday Lin. Yi changed into his home clothes, and Grandma's son took out everything from Lin Yi's jacket. She put it on the coffee table and went to the laundry room. What's this? Yushu looked at the bag of colorful stuff Grandma's son took out from Lin Yi's pocket. Is it edible? What? Meng Yao took a closer look at the item, speechless. Lin Yi had bought this? Super thin? Luminous? Screw? What the hell is this? Yushu looked at the stuff in her hands curiously. Finally, she saw some words on a small package. Super smooth. Pfft, I know. Shield bro. And Wong Fox did it. It can't be that fast, right? Meng Yao didn't think that Lin Yi was someone like that. Xiao, Tang Yun, and Lin Yi hadn't even gotten to that point yet. Wang Xinyan, who was just his classmate, had done it? Was that even possible? So it's premeditated? Yushu said. Then you can ask him later. Meng Yao was curious as well. Why did Lin Yi buy this stuff? She didn't want to ask, so she gave the task to Shu. Okay. Yushu nodded. After a while, Lin Yi changed into his home clothes and walked out of the room. He looked at the miss and Shu strangely. Lin Yi looked at his clothes curiously as well. The buttons weren't in the wrong places, were they? What are you guys looking at? Lin Yi asked. Shield bro, Yao told me to ask you, what are these condoms for? Do you want to do it with me? And Yao, in the middle of the night? Yushu raised the bag in her hands. Fuck. Meng Yao slapped the back of Yushu's head. Shu, what are you talking about? Why did I tell you to ask? You were the one who said it. Let me ask later. Yushu held her head, feeling wronged. Genius Shu got hit silly. I didn't tell you to say the second half. Meng Yao said. Oh, Shu added it herself. Yushu said. Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he looked at the 2 clowns in front of him. That thing you're talking about was promoted by someone in the theater. He wouldn't stop if I didn't buy it, so I bought it and gave it to you guys. We don't want it. Meng Yao didn't suspect anything after hearing Lin Yi's explanation. You can fill it with water and use it as a water balloon, Yushu said. Why don't you use it as a balloon? Meng Yao glared at Yushu. It's already big. You don't know if it's good or bad. Chapter 2188. Yushu said as she opened the bag and took one out. I like this luminous one. It's pretty flashy. Yao Yao sis, what about you? Piss off. Meng Yao stood up and went upstairs to sleep. Oh, I'm sorry, Yao Yao sis. Yushu gave the bag back to Lin Yi. I'll let you keep it. I'm going to sleep too. Lin Yi went back to his room and threw the bag into the drawer. He sat on his bed and closed his eyes. However, his speed was clearly much slower than before and could not be mentioned in the same breath. Lin Yi wanted to visit Han Jingjing and talk to her about alchemy, but it was getting late, so Lin Yi decided to talk to her tomorrow. The night went by uneventfully, and the next morning, Han Jingjing yawned as she came for breakfast, but she came a lot earlier than usual. Evidently, she knew that Lin Yi was back and wanted to discuss alchemy with Lin Yi. Lin Yi was also looking for her, so he pulled Han Jingjing into his room before Grandma's son finished cooking. Lin Yi, bro, I stayed up all night to study the notes you gave me, and although there are some things that I can learn from, there aren't many. It's not as useful as the notes you gave me. Han Jingjing said, I've finished scanning, I'll give it back to you later, and the information I gave you before is basically the best. Lin Yi said, don't let anyone see it and don't mention it, especially Right Coiling Tiger. Jingjing knows. Jingjing isn't an idiot. I won't say anything. Han Jingjing nodded. Right, I've asked White Boss about the multiple materials, and this is what he said. With that, Lin Yi told Han Jingjing about White Boss's explanation. I see. Han Jingjing nodded. Jingjing, after a few days, I'm going to gather some ingredients for a second-grade pill and try to refine it. Oh, right, here's a small qi gathering pill. Take it. After you take it, you'll be able to advance to the early phase of the Earth class. It'll be very beneficial for your alchemy. Lin Yi said as he handed a small qi gathering pill to Han Jingjing. Of the 3 small qi gathering pills, one was for Han Jingjing and one was for Lin Yi to give to the Purple Lightning Tempest Beast. As for the last one, he had not decided who to give it to. All right. Han Jingjing took the small qi gathering pill and swallowed it without hesitation. She began to circulate her inner force mantra to dissolve the effects of the pill. A pill master's mantra was indeed different from other mantras. Han Jingjing had taken a small qi gathering pill to forcibly increase her strength to break through to Earth stage, but it wasn't as painful as Han Xiaopa had been. It was as if everything was natural. However, just as Han Jingjing was about to break through, someone knocked on Lin Yi's door. Mr. Lin, dinner's ready. You can eat now. Grandma's son's voice rang out. Grandma's son, wait a moment. You guys eat first. Lin Yi looked at Han Jingjing. Han Jingjing was on the verge of a breakthrough. Although it was easier for a pill master to break through than a normal person, Lin Yi didn't dare leave. He had to do it for Han Jingjing. If something happened to Han Jingjing, Lin Yi would regret it. To Lin Yi, Han Jingjing was a big treasure. She was a mobile cauldron, after all. If something happened, Lin Yi wouldn't even be able to find a place to cry. Grandma's son didn't think much of Lin Yi's words, but Meng Yao and Yushu were curious. What were Lin Yi and Han Jingjing doing in his room? They weren't even eating breakfast? Yao Yao, what do you think Shield Bro and Dumb Jing are doing in the room? Yushu said, as she looked at Lin Yi's room. She wanted to barge in. Let's get down to business, Meng Yao said faintly. Say, can we try the condoms from yesterday? Yushu asked. Shu, I think your thoughts are getting more and more complicated, Meng Yao said. Who did you learn it from? Yao Yao, Yushu said. Are you looking for a beating? Meng Yao was pissed. You are marked by the company you keep. I'm with Yao Yao every day. Yushu said. Then why didn't I become as dumb as you? Meng Yao asked. Shu is not dumb either, Yushu said. Just when Meng Yao and Yushu were arguing, Lin Yi's door was finally pushed open. Han Jingjing was sweating, but her face was glowing. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was calm. Their expressions made Yushu suspicious. Shield bro, what were you doing with Han Jingjing just now? Yushu asked. Breakthrough. Lin Yi said. You guys broke through that level of relationship? Yushu's mouth was wide open. She didn't think that she was right. What relationship? Lin Yi was confused. Han Jingjing broke through to Earth class early phase. Oh, it's nothing. Yushu closed her mouth. Come eat breakfast. I left some for you guys. Meng Yao glared at Yushu. This girl was always messing around. After breakfast, the four of them drove to school. In the car, Lin Yi called Zhao Qikun, but his phone was turned off. This made Lin Yi's heart sink, thinking back to Zhao Qibing's expression last night, and the fact that Qikun didn't show up at the Hidden House Summit. Lin Yi had a bad feeling. Did something happen to his follower? But in the Hidden House, the only people close to Lin Yi were him and Zhao Qijiu. If Lin Yi asked others, it would undoubtedly expose their relationship, and if something really happened to Zhao Qikun, it would only make things worse. So Lin Yi couldn't ask the Hidden House directly. He could only place his hopes on Xiao Xiao of the Ice Palace, hoping that she would be able to get some information from Qijiu. Perhaps Qijiu might know something. But Lin Yi didn't know Xiao Xiao's contact information, so he turned to Meng Yao and Yushu. Did Xiao Xiao contact you guys? Do you have her contact information? Xiao Xiao, we did contact her, but we don't have her contact information. Meng Yao didn't know why Lin Yi would suddenly ask about Xiao Xiao. Then it's fine. It seemed that Lin Yi could only write a message to Bing Shui Town and ask Manager Li to pass it to Xiao Xiao. This was the only contact information Lin Yi had with Xiao Xiao. Chapter 2189. Looking at the caller ID, it was Sun Jingyi this time. Lin Yi picked up the phone. Jingyi, great thief. I've confirmed the location of Wulonghout Mountain Range. Do you want to go with me? Sun Jingyi's words were filled with joy. Perhaps this trip to Wulonghout could reveal some of her parents' secrets. Naturally, she was very happy. You've confirmed it? How about this? I'll go find you at noon. We'll talk when we meet. Lin Yi said. Sun Jingyi? Meng Yao frowned after Lin Yi hung up. You're going to find her? Yeah. I promised her that I'll go with her to find the mystery of her birth parents. Lin Yi said. Oh. Meng Yao replied faintly, not too happy about it. Shield bro, Yao Yao sis is angry. Do you like Wang Xinyan or Sun Jingyi? You can't always be two-timing, can you? Why don't you choose Han Jingjing? Yushu asked for Meng Yao. What do I have to do with Jingjing? Han Jingjing blushed. I'm just learning alchemy from Lin Yi bro. I need something called pure topaz, and it just so happens that Sun Jingyi has a piece of it. It's something her parents left for her. Lin Yi had no choice but to explain bitterly. Sun Jingyi gave this piece of jade to me. But by some coincidence, I found an incomplete map in this pure topaz. Lin Yi didn't tell Meng Yao and the others in detail, but since they asked, Lin Yi didn't hide it. The people in the car were all people that Lin Yi trusted. Lin Yi naturally wouldn't hide it. So that's how it is. She's even willing to give you her parents' belongings. Don't let her down. Meng Yao sighed. It seemed that Sun Jingyi really treated Lin Yi well. This was a headache. Xiao Xiao only had one target for the main wife. Wang Xinyan and Han Jingjing were competing, and now there was this Sun Jingyi. It didn't look like it was going to be easy. It's just that she's a girl. It's not convenient for her to go to the mountains alone. I'm just accompanying her. Lin Yi said, It's not as complicated as you say. The group arrived at the school. At the same time, in the hidden Zhao family in the East Sea, Elder Yu and Elder Zhao had a huge argument and parted on bad terms. Elder Zhao told the truth, stating that Yu Huashing was the one who gave the qi gathering pill to House Zhao. But Elder Zhao was still the one in the wrong in this matter. Even if Yu Huashing had taken the initiative to give it to him, the hidden Zhao family shouldn't have kept it a secret. After all, such a treasure was an enormous treasure that was extremely rare and hard to come by. Furthermore, the two families were in-laws. Logically speaking, Elder Zhao should have told Elder Yu about it, at least. No matter how one looked at it, it didn't make sense to keep everything to oneself. However, this qi amassing pill was personally given to the hidden Zhao family by Yu Huashing. Hence, Elder Yu wanted to reason with him, but he couldn't find a suitable reason. He didn't want to waste any more words. The two families parted on bad terms. Zhao Qibing had just bought a car as a reward for his hard work during this period of time. After the Hidden House Summit, he wanted to relax, but he didn't expect Lin Yi to steal his car. He returned to the Hidden House with a belly full of anger, but Zhao Qibing didn't dare hide it. He told Elder Bai, and Elder Zhao everything about Lin Yi. After all, Lin Yi was the public enemy of House Zhao, and he couldn't hide anything from Lin Yi. This Lin Yi is too much. Elder Bai humphed coldly after hearing the words. He was famous for being protective of his own people. Once he recognized Zhao Qibing as his disciple, he would naturally protect him. Even if it was the children of House Zhao who caused trouble first, he would still blame it on Lin Yi. You can't blame Lin Yi for this. It's just Qibing's bad luck running into him. Any other Hidden House's child would probably end up the same if they ran into Lin Yi. Elder Zhao waved his hand and said faintly, "Even the fire wolves can't do anything in front of Lin Yi. Don't look at how arrogant they are in front of us." That's true. Something big happened to the fire wolves a while ago. And although they didn't say anything, there was news that Lin Yi broke Zhang Wen's leg in front of an Earth-class late-phase peak protector from the fire wolves, and even scammed him for a huge amount of money. Elder Bai nodded. Qibing, so it's not like you're losing face. Of course, if they knew that the fire wolves had lost another 2 million and a car, they'd feel even better. Right, but Lin Yi asked me something. Qibing said, Lin Yi asked me about Zhao Qikun, and although he said that Zhao Qikun was his enemy, and that he didn't see Zhao Qikun at the meeting, I feel like he's lying to me. As expected, Elder Zhao nodded. If Lin Yi hadn't asked, I wouldn't have been sure if that Zhao Qikun was telling Lin Yi, but Lin Yi's question confirmed it. That's right, Zhao Qikun is a traitor, and if he gets close to Lin Yi, he'll be a huge problem for House Zhao when he grows up. Elder Bai said, yeah, if Zhao Qikun really was Lin Yi's enemy, would Lin Yi be so free to ask him? Qibing said, Lin Yi isn't someone with that much free time. He's just a small character. There were so many people in the Ice Palace trial, and he asked Zhao Qikun. That means something? Elder Bai, what do you think? Elder Zhao sighed. Qikun is a disciple of House Zhao, after all, and although he might be friends with Lin Yi, he didn't admit it himself, and we can't force him. Head, I have a good idea, Elder Bai said after a sigh. Oh, what idea? Elder Zhao asked. After a while, it'll be the test of the Sky Elixir School. At that time, we can let Zhao Qikun join the test, whether he admits it or not. We can just let him join the test. That's the best way to solve this problem once and for all, Elder Bai said. The Sky Elixir Sect's trial. Elder Zhao's face changed. He knew about it, but compared to the Ice Palace trial, the rewards were much better, but it was also much more dangerous, and so many hidden houses would rather participate in the Ice Palace trial than the Sky Elixir one. Chapter 2190. Of course, there were those who were lucky enough to complete the mission and come back with great rewards from Sky Elixir, third-level elixir. They could choose any third-level elixir from the Sky Elixir sect. This reward was enough to make all the noble houses go crazy, but it was too dangerous. They couldn't just send their core disciples to the test, And if they died, they'd lose everything. Not even the elixir. After all, the number of people who could get elixirs was very few. And so all these years, the disciples who went to the Sky Elixir sect were either the bastard children of the house, afraid that they'd threaten the position of the head of the house, or they weren't of the same surname. If they died, then so be it. But if they succeeded, they'd get a lot of glory and rewards. Since we've already chosen Zhao Qibing to be the next head of the house, if Qi is still here, he'll always be a problem, Elder Bai said. All right, I'll find a chance to talk to Qi. Old Xiao sighed. Qi was his grandson, after all. He didn't have high hopes for him, but he didn't want anything to happen to him. If it weren't for Qi telling Lin Yi about the Hidden House Summit, old Zhao wouldn't have made the decision to send him away. Actually, you don't have to be troubled. Head of the house. A while ago, we talked about this Sky Elixir test, and Qi was actually quite enthusiastic about it. Elder Bai said faintly, he knows his position in the house, and he knows that if he wants to get promoted, he has to keep making contributions. So we're sending him to the test, and that's what he wants. All right. Old Zhao finally made up his mind. Qi was very troubled. He didn't think that he'd be caught red-handed by Qibing just calling Lin Yi. There was no way he could defend himself from the call records. What reason did he have to call Lin Yi? Qi didn't think that even if he made up a story, Elder Bai, and old Zhao would see through it. And so Qi felt that he was very unlucky. He had been hiding House Zhao. If he wanted to have a say in House Zhao, he had to find another way. In this hidden house meeting, he secretly saw that Lin Yi was representing House Han, and he wanted to tell Lin Yi that Zhao Qibing's car was modified. But before they could spread the news, Qibing and Elder Bai caught them in the act. And so, Qi was locked up. He was worried, but there was nothing he could do. All of his communication devices had been taken away, so it was impossible to contact him even if he wanted to. Lin Yi saw Xinyan's Porsche Cayenne in the parking lot when he arrived at school. The damage was still there, and it seemed that Xinyan hadn't had time to get it fixed. However, Bai Weituo's Audi Q7 didn't stop there. Lin Yi guessed that he might have heard it from downstairs of the boxing club. He walked with Han Jingjing to the biology department's teaching building. Similarly, just like last time, he was stopped by Right Coiling Tiger, Yellow Hair, and Purple Hair on the way. I say, Right Coiling Tiger, why are you doing this again? What do you want this time? Lin Yi could guess what Right Coiling Tiger was thinking, but he didn't show it on his face. Lin Yi, I have something to say to you. Actually, I want to make a deal with you. You know what I mean? Some things can't be said in the classroom. If Boss Bai hears it, it won't be good for either of us. Right Coiling Tiger said. What? You're not thinking about that information again, are you? Lin Yi smiled coldly. There's no way I'm going to trade with you this time. Don't even think about it. Don't. Let's talk. Right Coiling Tiger saw that Lin Yi was so determined. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that this was the real deal. Otherwise, Lin Yi wouldn't be so determined. He'd be playing hard to get. I don't have anything good to say to you, Lin Yi said indifferently. Lin Yi, there's a good saying. In this world, there's nothing that can't be bought. It just depends on whether you have enough chips. Right Coiling Tiger said. Even if you don't want to listen to my chips, don't be in such a hurry to reject me. Not interested. After saying that, Lin Yi pushed Right Coiling Tiger away and was about to leave with Han Jingjing. Wait. Right Coiling Tiger panicked. 5 second-grade pills, how about it? Is that enough chips? No. Lin Yi said. Lin Yi, don't be so ungrateful. I already know that you aren't an elixir refiner at all. You must be in urgent need of elixirs. 5-second-level elixirs. Think about it. It's priceless. Pan Hu said, Are you retarded? If I lacked pills, I had plenty of chances to exchange for them during the Hidden House Summit. Why wouldn't I? Lin Yi asked. You Didn't you purposely make me raise the conditions of the competition to create the illusion that you're an alchemist? Right, Coiling Tiger said. You're thinking too much. Lin, he said indifferently, I've won so many competitions, one more doesn't matter. Plus, I didn't even win. Don't you want the lesser chi gathering pills? How about 5 small chi gathering pills? Right, Coiling Tiger said. It can let the people around you break through to Earth class. That's my bottom line. 5 lesser chi gathering pills. What's the difference between 5 second-grade pills and 5 second-grade pills? Linny looked at Right Coiling Tiger mockingly. All right, stop playing word games. I don't have time. I'm going to school. You can play by yourself. After Lin Yi said that, he left with Han Jingjing, leaving Right Coiling Tiger to complain angrily. F***CK. Not even 5 second-grade pills. Young Master Right. Linny didn't hold back this time, nor did he pretend. I'm guessing that the information in his hands is very important. Otherwise, he would not be tempted. After all, if he shows us the information, we'll get 5 lesser chi gathering pills for nothing. Yellow Hair said, That's right. I think Lin, he thinks that we don't have enough chips. Purple Hair also said, I'll discuss it with Uncle again. Right Coiling Tiger had no choice but to take out his phone and call his uncle, hidden in the right house, after Kong Ming Ming left. Right Jintian carefully walked into the secret room, where the sky silkworm transformation was located with an antique medicinal cauldron. Right Jintian greets young Master Tian. Right Jintian respectfully bowed to the sky silkworm transformation, then carefully said to Old Manu, Father, I've brought that treasure. All right, young Master Tian and 5th Elder, please take a look and see what this medicinal cauldron is. Old Manu nodded. Chapter 2191. Oh, this medicine cauldron looks a little special. Silkworm Transformation's eyes lit up slightly as he took the medicine cauldron and examined it carefully. However, as he examined it, he frowned. After a while, he said in disappointment, This medicine cauldron is damaged. 5th Uncle, what do you think? Young Sect Master said that it is damaged. Naturally, it can't be wrong. The 5th Elder took the medicine cauldron from Silkworm Transformation's hands and examined it carefully for a long time before returning it to Yu Jintian. This medicine cauldron is a good medicine cauldron. It should be an item from the ancient times or even the primordial times, but it has cracks and is damaged. It can't be used for alchemy. Then, can it be repaired? Yu Jintian was a little disappointed when he heard Silkworm Transformation and the 5th Elder's evaluation. No, 5th Elder shook his head and said, Now that the way of forging has been lost, this is also the reason why our Heavenly Elixir sect can make 1st grade and 2nd grade medicine cauldrons, but not 3rd grade medicine cauldrons. But can it be repaired even if it can't be forged? Yu Jintian asked. Repairing? Repairing isn't easier than forging. The 5th Elder said, Legend has it that one needs to have the 3 attributes of metal, fire, and wood in order to learn blacksmithing. As for blacksmithing, one needs to have both the metal and wood attributes at the same time. The path of blacksmithing has been passed down in the world, but there is only the path of blacksmithing. There is no matching mental cultivation method. Metal restrains wood. So ordinary mental cultivation methods cannot be practiced at the same time. Therefore, this medicine cauldron of yours is actually of no value. In terms of value, it can only be regarded as an ornamental object. I see. Yu Jintian felt a heartache. He had bought this thing from an antique collector at a high price. Because that person was a collector and did not easily sell his collection, Yu Jintian had spent dozens of times more than the market price to buy this medicine cauldron. He had also paid a lot of other prices. In the end, it was just an ornamental object which made him regret it. If he had known this would happen, he would not have spent so much money to buy it. Yu Jintian did not have a hobby of collecting antiques. Moreover, even if he did collect antiques, wouldn't he be stupid to buy antiques at this price? He had a good plan previously. He wanted to give this thing to Silkworm Transformation to gain a good impression for the Yu family, but now it seemed that the Heavenly Elixir sect didn't want it at all. Yu Xintian, I appreciate your kindness. I won't mistreat you for working so hard for our Heavenly Elixir sect. Silkworm Transformation naturally understood Yu Xintian's thoughts and comforted him. Thank you, young sect, Master Tian. Yu Xintian was delighted when he heard Heavenly Silkworm Transformation's affirmation. All right, Xintian, you can leave first. Old Master Yu was also a little disappointed, although he got a verbal affirmation of the Sky Silkworm Transformation. This thing was not taken seriously by others. The Yu family bought a piece of junk at a high price, which made him a little depressed. Yes, Yu Xintian turned around and retreated. Just as he walked out of the secret room, his phone rang. Yu Xintian picked up the phone and saw that it was Yupan, so he quickly picked up the phone. Hello? Coiling Tiger. How is it? Did you get it? Eldest uncle. This time, that Lin Yi seems to be very vigilant. I offered him 5 second-grade elixirs, and they were all small chi-gathering elixirs, but he didn't want them all. He turned around and left, Yupanu said with a bitter smile. Oh, what does he mean? Does he think that the chips are too little, or he doesn't want to exchange with you at all? Yu Xintian asked. He doesn't really want to exchange, but since he showed it to others and I forced him, he should be able to exchange. Moreover, when I mentioned the chips, he also stopped in his tracks. After listening to me, he refused. Right, Coiling Tiger said. In that case, it must be that the chips we offered are not enough. Yu Xintian pondered for a moment and said, how about this? You give him another supreme-grade ancient medicine cauldron and see if he wants to exchange. Supreme-grade ancient medicine cauldron? Do we have such things in our family? Even if we do, we can't exchange it with Lin Yi. Yupanhu said subconsciously after being stunned for a moment. Of course we do. Do you remember the medicine cauldron I bought from an antique collector previously? Yu Xintian said as he raised the medicine cauldron in his hand. Oh, I remember. But that medicine cauldron, didn't you say that it was to be given to the people above us? Yupanhu didn't directly say the name of the Heavenly Elixir sect. After all, he was in school, so it was better to avoid it. Sigh. Yu Xintian sighed and said, that medicine cauldron is a good thing, but the Heavenly Elixir sect can't repair it. Therefore, that medicine cauldron is like a waste and can only be used as an ornament. It can't be, right? Yupanu pondered for a moment and said, all right, then give it to me. I'll bluff Lin Yi. That fool doesn't seem to know much about alchemy, let alone having any great knowledge. Maybe he thinks that he can repair it so he can get a bargain. And that's what I mean. That Lin Yi naturally doesn't have the knowledge of the Heavenly Elixir sect. You can bluff him and exchange this medicine cauldron for something useful to our family. Yu Xintian said, the alchemist's notes are more useful than this medicine cauldron. I understand. How about this? Uncle, take a picture of the medicine cauldron and send it to me. Lin Yi is someone who won't release the eagle without seeing the rabbit. Even if I tell him without telling him, he might not believe me, Yupanhu said. All right, I'll send it to you now. Yu Xintian nodded and said. Lin Yi and Han Jingjing came to the classroom. Seeing that Yupanhu didn't follow, Han Jingjing said, Brother Lin Yi, can't you return this information to Yupanhu and exchange it for something good? Yes, but the things he gave are too little, and they aren't of much use to us. Lin Yi said, I already have 3 small chi-gathering pills. Any more is useless. Then, can I ask him for some materials to refine second-grade elixirs? Han Jingjing hesitated and said, Although Jingjing's family is also doing business and has some connections with medicine, ordinary medicinal materials can be purchased, but the medicinal materials for second-grade medicinal pills are not easy to collect. Okay, what materials do you want? You make a list, I'll ask him for it. Linny nodded and said, Really? Brother Lin Yi, you are so good to Jingjing. Han Jingjing was a little excited after listening. She was worried about finding the refining materials for second-grade medicinal pills, and Yupanu came to her door. Chapter 2192. She didn't know how much this moving furnace was worth. If the ancient sects found it, they'd probably treat it like a treasure. Yes, then I'll work hard, and try not to waste materials this time. Han Jingjing nodded. Xin Yan had already arrived at the classroom, and she blushed when she saw Lin Yi walking over. What happened last night was too ambiguous, and she didn't have a chance to talk to Lin Yi after leaving the theater. She was interrogated by He Mei Wei and the others when she got back to the dorm, and she didn't know if she should explain or not. In the end, she had no choice but to acquiesce to her relationship with Lin Yi. The key was that she had to acquiesce, and He Mei Wei wouldn't believe her even if she didn't acquiesce, and she kept asking questions. In the end, Xin Yan could only acquiesce. Morning, Lin Yi greeted Xin Yan with a smile. Yeah. Xin Yan nodded. Sorry for the trouble yesterday, Lin Yi said softly after sitting down. It's not really troublesome. They've thought that way since the beginning. Take by Wei Duo, for example. It doesn't matter if I explain or not. They'll still call me sis-in-law. What's the point? Xin Yan smiled bitterly. That's true. Then let's ignore them. I'm just worried that you'll feel burdened. Lin Yi saw that Xin Yan didn't have any special reaction, and he let out a sigh of relief. He was afraid that Xin Yan would feel uncomfortable. What burdens can I have? It's fine as long as the two of us know what's going on. Xin Yan shrugged. As for what other people think, I don't care. It's too tiring to live for others. Actually, I didn't mean to take advantage of you yesterday. It's just that it's faster to train with you in my arms, Lin Yi explained. Yeah, I know, Xin Yan said. She didn't know, but she trusted Lin Yi. Lin Yi wanted to say something, but coiling tiger right, yellow hair, and purple hair walked into the classroom, walking towards Lin Yi. Lin Yi, let's talk. You coiling tiger walked over, casually pulled out a chair, and sat down on the aisle beside Lin Yi. What's there to talk about? Lin Yi asked back. Don't you just want to see the information in my hands? Heh, not bad. Since you know my purpose, then I won't beat around the bush. Lin Yi, what do I have to do for you to exchange with me? Right coiling tiger wasn't afraid that Lin Yi would expose his purpose. He was afraid that Lin Yi would beat around the bush. I don't want to change, Lin Yi said. You don't want to trade? Coiling tiger right paused, thinking that there was a way. Not wanting to trade and not wanting to trade were two completely different concepts. Not wanting to trade meant that Lin Yi didn't want to, but it wasn't impossible to change his mind. Lin Yi, do you think that my bargaining chip doesn't meet your bottom line? Let's not play Tai Chi, just tell me the truth. What are your conditions? Me? What conditions do I have? You're the one who wants to trade with me. I don't want to trade. Lin Yi looked at coiling tiger right. A little mocking. Since you're not playing games with me, why don't you tell me what you're offering? Let me see if I'm interested, then I'll trade. If not, then forget it. All right. Right coiling tiger nodded. He'd already gotten to this point, and he'd gotten a clear answer. He didn't need to hide anymore. And said his bottom line. The 5-second level elixirs from before remain the same, and I'll add an ancient medicine cauldron as well. An ancient medicine cauldron? Lin Yi was a little shocked after listening to coiling tiger right's words. An ancient medicine cauldron? Would he use it to exchange for an alchemist's notes? Was there something wrong with his head? If such a good thing existed, it would be a family heirloom. How could he exchange it with others so casually? Yes, but I know you may not believe it, but I have a photo here. I can show it to you first. If you agree, I'll have someone send it over immediately. Coiling Tiger Right nodded and said, Coiling Tiger Right, it's not that I don't believe you, but you have to at least give me a reason to believe you, right? An ancient medicine cauldron. If your head isn't filled with water, would you use such a good thing to exchange for my alchemist notes? Lin Eve looked at Coiling Tiger, right like he was looking at an idiot. How credible do you think your words are? Even if you say it, do you believe it? It's undeniable that this alchemist's notes have some value, but compared with an ancient medicine cauldron, it's a world of difference. You wouldn't use a fake to fool me, right? How could it be? Coiling Tiger Right was a little embarrassed after listening to Lin Yi's words. He originally wanted to brag about this medicine cauldron again, to highlight how good this medicine cauldron was, but he neglected one point. The bargaining chip he took out this time was obviously not equal to the value of the alchemist's notes, so Lin Yi had doubts. It's not really a fake, right? Lin Yi looked at Coiling Tiger Right's awkward expression and asked coldly, if you're making fun of me, then you can get lost. Cough. Coiling Tiger Right coughed and laughed dryly. Actually, you're not wrong. If it's an ancient medicine cauldron without any problems, don't mention me exchanging it with you. I don't even have the qualifications to touch it. Then what do you mean? Lin Yi asked. To tell you the truth, this medicine cauldron is indeed an ancient medicine cauldron, but it has a crack, which means it's broken, Coiling Tiger Right said. However, if you have the means, you can try to repair it. If you can repair it, then its value can be as high as a city. If it could be repaired, would it be my turn? Lin Yi listened to Coiling Tiger Right's words and fell into deep thought. Previously, when he was hiding in the Han family, he obtained the remnant of the tool-mending scroll. However, these 2 days, Lin Yi had more things to do, so he didn't have the time to carefully study it. But if he could thoroughly study it, could he repair this damaged medicine cauldron? Under normal circumstances, it can't be repaired, but Lin Yi, you're so powerful. Maybe you can repair it by chance. Coiling Tiger Right simply said, this thing is a good thing, but if anyone can repair it, do you think I'll still exchange it with you? What you said sounds like a human, Lin Yi said. Coiling Tiger Right was a little speechless. So what I said before was not a human. Chapter 2193. Ugh, you can't say that. Are we talking about the terms of the exchange? Yupanu said, the deal is a two-way deal. If you don't think it's possible, you can put forward your request. I just stated my bottom line. You tell me your bottom line. Let's combine it. Isn't it fine? Okay. Lin Yi nodded and said, since you want to exchange so much, I will tell you my bottom line. Jingjing, give me the list. Okay. Brother Lin Yi. Han Jingjing had already listed the refining materials she needed. Lin Yi took Han Jingjing's list and glanced at it. It was the refining materials for 3 kinds of second-grade medicinal pills, including the small qi gathering pill. Lin Yi marked a number on the list, then handed it to Yupanhu and said, the refining materials for 3 kinds of second-grade medicinal pills, 5 of each, plus the medicinal cauldron you mentioned just now. This is my bottom line. 5 of each? Isn't that 15 sets of second-grade medicinal pills materials equivalent to 15 second-grade medicinal pills? Yupanhu was shocked and asked, are you stupid, or don't you know how to calculate? Your family's 15 sets of second-grade medicinal pills materials are equivalent to 15 second-grade medicinal pills? Lin Yi rolled his eyes. 15 portions of ingredients for a second-level elixir. Can you make 15 second-level elixirs? Yupanhu thought about it. It was also true. Even if old master you made a move, it was impossible to refine 15 second-grade medicinal pills with 15 sets of second-grade medicinal pills materials. It was already very high to have a 1/3 success rate. After all, old master, you was only a second-grade alchemist, and the success rate was 20 to 30%. Thinking of this, Lin Yi's request was not increased but lowered a lot. This made Yu Panhu a little puzzled. Are you sure this is your bottom line? Yes. Lin Yi said, you better not play any tricks. If I didn't need some second-grade medicinal pills materials for experiments, I would be too lazy to exchange with you. Okay. I'll contact the family and have them send these materials and the cauldron over. After figuring out the value of these second-grade elixir materials, Right Coiling Tiger immediately made a decision. This was something that he could decide. Okay, send me the picture of the cauldron to study first, Lin Yi said. No problem. Right Coiling Tiger readily agreed. After sending a text message to Lin Yi, he said, since the deal has been reached, should I take a look at the alchemist's notes first? Do you think I'll show it to you? Lin Yi asked, let's talk about it after we exchange. Panhu Right also felt that Lin Yi definitely wouldn't let him see it. What if he didn't give him anything after he saw it? Then why are you still sitting here? Boss Bai is here. Do you want to be scolded? Lin Yi asked. I'm leaving now. Right Coiling Tiger thought that Lin Yi was afraid. He was afraid that Boss Bai would know that he had exchanged information privately. Therefore, in Right Coiling Tiger's opinion, if Lin Yi dared to play tricks, then he would go to Boss Bai to report what Lin Yi had done. After Right Coiling Tiger left, Lin Yi turned on his phone and studied the top-grade medicinal cauldron from the ancient times that Right Coiling Tiger mentioned. The medicinal cauldron in the picture did look antique, but it could also be seen from the picture that the medicinal cauldron was very broken. Even though this was the best angle, the person who took the picture had tried his best to choose the most complete side of the medicinal cauldron. However, even so, this medicinal cauldron was still broken. There were dense cracks on it. At first glance, it was obvious that it was an ornamental object that couldn't be used for alchemy. Of course, in the hands of others, it was an ornamental object, but in the hands of Lin Yi, it might not be so. Lin Yi had a remnant scroll on the path of artifact mending. Perhaps he could find a way to repair this top-grade medicinal cauldron from it. Therefore, Lin Yi exchanged it back and studied it. Perhaps he could gain something. Even if he couldn't repair it, the 15 portions of second-grade elixir materials were worth it. Han Jingjing needed second-grade elixir materials to experiment. Right Coiling Tiger happened to be worried about what others were thinking. He was really too considerate. However, this medicinal cauldron gave Lin Yi a somewhat familiar feeling. Lin Yi seemed to have seen this medicinal cauldron somewhere before, but he didn't seem to have much of an impression of it. After thinking for a while, Lin Yi didn't have much of an impression. Instead, Boss Bai came. For the entire morning, Lin Yi calmly spent his time cultivating and listening to lectures. At noon, Lin Yi promised Sun Jingyi that he would look for her. When he left the classroom, he was stopped by Right Coiling Tiger. Lin Yi, wait a minute. Right Coiling Tiger had already told his uncle, Right Qintian, about Lin Yi's conditions in the morning. Right Qintian almost didn't think about it and agreed to Lin Yi's request. In his eyes, the value of 15 portions of second-grade elixir materials was about the same as 5 second-grade elixir materials. Lin Yi's request was not considered a request at all. After Right Qintian prepared these things, he sent a core disciple of the Yu family, Right 10, to deliver these things to Right Coiling Tiger. Oh, it seems that you have prepared all the things I want. Lin Yi saw the bag in Right Coiling Tiger's hand and asked faintly, Yes, I have prepared the things. Right Coiling Tiger said, It's here. Lin Yi, can we exchange the materials this time? Don't worry. I haven't inspected the goods yet. Lin Yi said unhurriedly, It just so happens that I haven't eaten at noon. You can treat me. Right Coiling Tiger was a little speechless, but who asked him to beg Lin E? So he nodded and said, "Where do we go to eat? I have no problem treating you, but let's confirm the transaction first. Go to the Shueshang Business Hotel. I will naturally trade with you when we get there," said Lin E. "Okay." Right Coiling Tiger had no choice but to follow Lin E to the parking lot and get in Lin Yi's Grand Cherokee. Along the way, Right Coiling Tiger wanted to speak several times but stopped himself. However, when he saw Lin Yi's calm look, he knew that Lin E probably wouldn't care about him even if he said it. It couldn't be helped. Right Coiling Tiger couldn't wait to put the package in his hand on the table when they arrived at the Shueshang Business Hotel. "Linny, can we trade now?" His only purpose of coming here was to trade with Lin E. As for eating at the same table with Lin E, he didn't have that kind of leisure. "Wait, I haven't ordered yet." Lin E waved his hand, called the waiter, and brought the menu. It was a special meal. Right Coiling Tiger was a little speechless, but he still waited patiently for Lin E to finish ordering. Then he said, "Is it okay now?" Chapter 2194. Right Coiling Tiger took out a credit card helplessly and handed it to the waiter. "Pay the bill first. I'll swipe my card." "Okay, sir." The waiter took the POS machine and swiped the card for Right Coiling Tiger. Then he went out to prepare the dishes. "Linny, are you done? If you don't want to exchange, just say it. You don't have to find so many excuses." Right Coiling Tiger was really impatient. "If you regret it, just say it." "Oh, you really guessed it. I did regret it." Linny nodded and said, "I damn." Right Coiling Tiger almost jumped. "What do you want? Why did you regret it?" "Actually, I regret it because of you," said Lin E. "Because of me? What do you mean?" asked Right Coiling Tiger. "Last time I exchanged information with you, and then you took it to heart. You kept saying that I cheated you. So I was thinking, after exchanging with you this time, would you do the same?" "Lin," he said with a straight face. "So after a whole morning of serious consideration, I've decided not to trade with you. F***CK. Are you playing with me?" Right Coiling Tiger was so depressed that he almost lost his temper, but he suddenly remembered that the person in front of him was Lin E. He was not allowed to lose his temper. If he lost his temper and got beaten up, he wouldn't be able to find a place to reason. He could only swallow his anger and say, "A man can't go back on his words. You still don't understand? I'm thinking for you. I'm afraid that you will regret it when the time comes. Then you will become a eunuch," said Lin E. "I'll become a eunuch? How did I become a eunuch?" Right Coiling Tiger was stunned. "Didn't you say that a man can't go back on his words? I'm afraid that when the time comes, you won't be a man." Lin E explained. "All right, Lin E, don't say these useless things. You don't have to think about me. I'm willing to exchange information with you. I won't go back on my word. Don't worry." Right Coiling Tiger said, "Is that okay now?" "Well, since you're so sincere, I'll trade with you." Linny nodded and said, "Open the package. I want to inspect the goods." "If I let you inspect the goods, you should also let me inspect the goods, right?" Right Coiling Tiger had an idea and said. Lin E rolled his eyes. "Right Coiling Tiger, are you trying to challenge our intelligence? I've already shown you my information. What value does it have? You won't lose anything even if I see your things. All right, take a look then." Right Coiling Tiger didn't waste any more words. He opened the package and presented the item to Lin E. He just wanted to end this deal as soon as possible. He opened the package, and an antique cauldron appeared in front of Lin E. However, after seeing the real thing, Lin E realized that this cauldron was even more broken than he'd imagined. The picture on the right side of the cauldron was only the front of the cauldron. Even though the front of the cauldron was densely covered with cracks, the back of the cauldron was a huge crack from top to bottom. It was not an exaggeration to say that it was too horrible to look at. This thing was real. With Lin Yi's eyes, he could tell that it was an antique. When he went with Ling Shan to rob the tomb, Lin Yi had learned a lot about antiques. However, from the looks of it, this thing couldn't be used to make pills. It was leaking all over the place, and it couldn't even be used to brew medicine. This thing is more broken than I imagined. Lin Yi sighed. Lin Yi, don't say that. If it was something good, would I trade it with you? It's this kind of useless stuff that our hidden house you would trade with. Right Coiling Tiger said. You've already agreed. Don't go back on your word. I didn't go back on my word. Look at how scared you are. Lin Yi put down the cauldron and said faintly. He began to check the materials for the level 2 pills. Humph. Right Coiling Tiger snorted and ignored Lin Yi. He quietly waited for Lin Yi's inspection results. Not bad. It's not bad. With that, Lin Yi tied the package and put it beside him. He then threw a document to Right Coiling Tiger. This is what you need. He. When Right Coiling Tiger saw that Lin Yi was finally willing to let go, he was overjoyed. He took the document and looked at it carefully. Right Coiling Tiger was an alchemist. Although his rank was relatively low, he was only a level 1 alchemist. However, he had seen and heard since he was a child. He knew a lot about alchemy. Although he hadn't dabbled in those advanced alchemy techniques, he could still distinguish the quality of the information at a glance. Just looking at one page, Right Coiling Tiger's face became dignified. This information was indeed good stuff. This time, Lin Yi didn't lie to him. Fortunately, Right Coiling Tiger also breathed a sigh of relief. When he looked at the back, he nodded even more. Some of the views and techniques described in this information. Right Coiling Tiger also heard Old Master Yu mention some of them when he taught the younger generation. So this information should be true without a doubt. It was impossible for Lin Yi to fool him. After looking at a few more pages, the things inside made Right Coiling Tiger feel refreshed. Before, Old Master Yu only talked about some basic experiences of alchemy, and the later records were some of the experiences and essentials of a level 1 alchemist. Right Coiling Tiger was amazed. Many things that he couldn't figure out and he didn't have time to ask Old Master Yu about could be explained and answered here. Seeing this, Right Coiling Tiger no longer had any doubts. He nodded heavily and said, Lin Yi, this time you are quite honest. You didn't deceive me with simple things. Oh, you got the thing. You can get out now. Go make a copy and return the original version directly to Han Jingjing. Lin Yi was secretly surprised. Didn't Boss Bai say that this was the alchemist's notes of the Heavenly Elixir sect? It stands to reason that the Right family should have it hidden. Why does Right Coiling Tiger look like he got a treasure? Get out? Aren't you going to eat? After Right Coiling Tiger got the good stuff, his appetite was very good. He was really a little hungry. I won't eat with you. I called you here to pay the bill. Lin Yi said, Of course, you can stay here. After I eat, I may need to exercise. I lack a sandbag. Are you willing to be my sandbag? Chapter 2195. After Right Coiling Tiger left, Lin Yi leisurely picked up his phone and dialed Sun Jingyi's number. As for Right Coiling Tiger's reaction after getting the alchemist's notes, although Lin Yi was confused, he wasn't too worried. Boss Bai wouldn't lie to him. And he also said that he would cooperate with him to act, which meant that the information wasn't the most important to Boss Bai. Lin Yi was already satisfied to be able to exchange the information for the things he had gotten so far. Although the materials for second-grade pills could be obtained through Boss Bai, if Lin Yi asked for it, Boss Bai would definitely get to the bottom of it. And then Lin Yi wouldn't be able to hide the fact that Han Jingjing was an alchemist. Lin Yi didn't want to lie to Boss Bai, but he also didn't want to expose Han Jingjing too early, so Linny could only start with Right Coiling Tiger. At the very least, even if Right Coiling Tiger was confused, he knew that even if he asked, Linny wouldn't tell him. So he might as well not ask in case he asked for trouble. Sun Jingyi didn't expect Lin Yi to actually order a banquet in the private room downstairs, so she quickly dressed up and went downstairs. At this time, the waiter had basically served all the dishes, and Sun Jingyi could eat when she arrived. No way? Great thief. Even if you're good to me, you don't have to order so many dishes. How can the two of us eat it all? Sun Jingyi looked at the dishes on the table and was very happy. Someone's treating. It'll be a waste not to eat, Lin Yi said. Someone's treating again this time? Sun Jingyi was a little surprised. Where's the person? Scram, Lin Yi said. Huh? Sun Jingyi was dazed. Scram? What do you mean? It means scram, Lin Yi said. After paying the bill, it's none of his business. Gosh. Sun Jingyi was a little speechless. There's actually such a kind person? Yeah, this idiot always gives me good stuff. Lin Yi smiled and said, let's not study him anymore. Let's eat first. And Sun Jingyi nodded, picked up the chopsticks, and put a small bite of food into her mouth. Recently, Sun Jingyi was less mature than the previous company owner, and more lazy and charming, although she was at most 1 year older than Lin Yi. Maybe because of her experience in society, she was more mature than Shu and the others. You said you'll accompany me to explore the map. My parents left me, right? Of course. Lin Yi nodded without hesitation. His relationship with Sun Jingyi was very good. Putting aside the previous identity of half a lover, just the fact that Sun Jingyi gave the jade pendant left by her parents to Lin Yi as material was enough to move Lin Yi. It seems that you still have a little awareness of being a lover. You won't let me take the risk alone. Sun Jingyi listened to Lin Yi's affirmative answer and smiled happily. Awareness of what? I only have a title as a lover. There are no practical benefits at all. Lin Yi smiled and said, to put it bluntly, isn't it just free labor? That's not necessarily the case. Now, it's a trial period for you. When I'm happy, I might let you be my lover. Sun Jingyi said, I'm not engaged now. My family won't interfere with what I do. As she said this, Sun Jingyi blinked at Lin Yi. Are you seducing me? Lin Yi looked at the current Sun Jingyi. It was difficult to put her with the image of the female, white-collar worker. The current Sun Jingyi was much cuter. I guess so. How about it? Do you accept the seduction? Asked Sun Jingyi. Accept it? Lin Yi nodded and said. After that, both of them laughed. The dialogue style of Lin Yi and Sun Jingyi could only be understood by the two parties involved. They also knew that it was just a joke. Right, I found the specific location of the Wulongheot mountain range. It is located outside the southern border. The environment there is very complicated. I heard that it is very dangerous. After Sun Jingyi joked, she said seriously, there were several expeditions on the internet that went to the Wulongheot mountain range to explore. Most of the people were wiped out. Only a few people survived. However, according to the survivors, it is very dangerous. Not only is there a natural moat, but there are also some monsters. Moreover, the local customs are very tough. In short, the survivors were scared and said that they would never go there to explore again in their lives. Oh, according to what you said, it seems to be full of danger? Lin Yi listened to Sun Jingyi's explanation and was a little surprised. If this is the case, why did your parents leave this map to you? I don't know. Maybe the more dangerous the place, the safer it is? If there are some things hidden there, it is not easy to be found. Sun Jingyi said, this is the only reason I can think of. After all, this is the truth. After those expeditions had an accident, no other expeditions went to that mountain range. Over time, it became a forbidden place for explorers. Perhaps that's the only explanation. Linny nodded after listening to it. How is it? Are you afraid? Asked Sun Jingyi. I'm not afraid. The key is you. Lin, he was a little speechless. Even if it was a moat with dangerous monsters, it was nothing compared to the tomb robbing and the Ice Palace trial. No matter how dangerous the moat was, could it be more terrifying than the secret passage in the ancient tomb? No matter how powerful the monster was, could it be more powerful than the purple electric beast? Didn't Lin Yi solve all of these? I'm really a little scared. Sun Jingyi didn't hide it. If you didn't promise to accompany me, I can't imagine not making up my mind to explore it. After all, I'm not a practitioner like you. My things are a little special. If it's just the moat and monsters, then don't worry. It's not a problem. I can handle it, Linny said. That's good. I was thinking the same thing. You're an Earth class now, and those people in the expedition team are just normal people. There's no way we can compare them. Jingyi said, hopefully, we'll be able to find our destination without a hitch. When do we leave? Lin Yi asked. I can leave any time. Sun Jingyi said, I don't have anything to do with the company now. All I do every day is look up information in the hotel. There's nothing else to do. Now that I have the information, we can leave immediately. All right, I'll go back and make some arrangements. Linny said, I need to make arrangements for Meng Yao and Yushu's safety. Chapter 2196. They wouldn't dare to do anything to him, but he wasn't afraid that they would send people after Meng Yao and Yushu. Han Xiaopa said that the sky-class masters of the hidden houses were restricted by the ancient rules and couldn't enter the common world easily. So Linny wasn't worried at all. With the purple thunderbolt beast protecting Meng Yao and Yushu, there shouldn't be any problems. Even if a sky-class master came, the purple thunderbolt beast would be able to deal with them. Sky-class masters wouldn't come. Those sky-class masters weren't idiots, taking such a huge risk to enter the common world and not go after Lin Yi, but Meng Yao and Yushu? Weren't they crazy? Even if they killed Meng Yao and Yushu, the hatred in their hearts wouldn't lessen. Right, Wu Qintian contacted me last night. He wanted to call you, but he couldn't get through, so he called me instead. Sun Jingyi said. He said he can come to Donghai anytime, and asked if you need his help. Last night, Lin Yi thought about it. It was probably because he was in the cinema last night, and the signal wasn't good, so Qintian couldn't get through. Coincidentally, Lin Yi was looking for him, and there was a qi-gathering pill that Lin Yi wanted to give to Qintian. Among the people around Lin Yi, Qintian was the only one who had the time to protect Meng Yao and Yushu at all times. Plus, he had been a bodyguard before, so it was a walk in the park for him. Plus, using this qi-gathering pill on Qintian was the most worth it right now. Qintian was a practitioner of both spiritual and physical arts, and he was stronger than normal spiritual and physical practitioners. Giving him a boost was also the most beneficial thing. Yeah, what, you don't think he's still interested in me, do you? Sun Jingyi saw Lin Yi's expression and misunderstood. Of course not. Lin Yi smiled. He's going to be in Earth class soon, so he probably won't be interested in you anymore. Lin Yi, do you want to die? So you're saying that you have very low standards? Jingyi was pissed. I'm just kidding. I was wondering why I couldn't get through to you yesterday. Lin Yi said, I went to the cinema yesterday. The signal there was bad. Cinema? A date? Jingyi asked. It's not really a date. Lin Yi evidently didn't want to talk about this topic. I'll call Wu Qintian. Okay. Sun Jingyi was very smart. Since Lin Yi didn't want to talk about it, she didn't ask anymore. Just as Sun Jingyi said, Qintian was ready and waiting for orders, ready to come as soon as Lin Yi called. And so Lin Yi made an appointment with Qintian, telling him to come over right now and meet him at the villa in the Shueshang district. After settling the matter of leaving with Sun Jingyi, Lin Yi took the cauldron and the ingredients for the second level elixir back to school. And now, Lin Yi was thinking whether or not to level up the purple thunderbolt beast. The situation was clear. The reason why the purple thunderbolt beast followed him was because he could bring it benefits. In other words, it was a deal. Its situation was different from General Weiwu and Skybolt Pig. General Weiwu was originally an animal that accompanied Miss through life and death. It was willing to sacrifice itself to save Mississippi. This relationship was enough to prove its loyalty. So, Lin Yi didn't hesitate to help it level up. Skybolt Pig, on the other hand, was Zhang Liju's spirit beast. Lin Yi inherited Zhang Liju's legacy, so Skybolt Pig had no choice but to follow Lin Yi. It could either stay in the tomb or follow Zhang Liju's disciple. But the purple thunderbolt beast was the spirit beast of the Qianshan sect. It turned to Lin Yi halfway through, so it was hard for Lin Yi to guarantee its loyalty. If it just left after leveling up, Lin wouldn't be able to defeat it and wouldn't be able to do anything to it. It seemed like he had to think about this carefully. When he went back at night, he had to communicate with the purple thunderbolt beast. When he returned to the classroom, Lin Yi saw Yupanhu sitting in the classroom with a smile on his face. He was talking to Yellow and Purple. When he saw Lin Yi walk in, he smiled at Lin Yi for the first time. He had already asked Yu Shishir to send the copied information back to the hidden house Yu, and he kept an extra copy for himself. After this information was sent back, he probably wouldn't be able to see it anymore. The hidden house Yu's library wasn't something an elixir refiner of his level could casually read. So, Yupanhu kept a copy for himself. This was also in preparation for him to enter the hidden house Yu's elder councils smoothly in the future. Lin Yi looked at Yupanhu's expression and was even more confused. Could it be that the hidden house Yu really didn't have this information? Otherwise, why would Yupanhu be so happy? But even if that was the case, Lin Yi didn't have any regrets. Yupanhu's sacrifice in exchange for a copy of the information was worth it. Lin Yi returned to his seat. Han Jingjing was still writing and drawing on the tablet. When she saw Lin Yi, she said happily, "Lin Yi bro, I got a lot of inspiration from this information. Now, I have more confidence in making second-level elixirs." "Really? That's great." Lin Yi was a little numb to Han Jingjing's genius. He handed all the materials that Yupanhu gave him to Han Jingjing and said, "The materials are here. There are a total of 15 sets. Take a look." And then, "That's great. This time, Jingjing can try to refine second-level elixirs." Han Jingjing took the materials from Lin Yi's hand and said, "Brother Lin Yi, you are so good to Jingjing. You always help Jingjing get what she wants. When you become an elixir refiner and help me refine elixirs, I will thank you then," said Lin Yi. Okay. When Jingjing learns it, I will refine elixirs for Brother Lin Yi alone." Han Jingjing nodded and said. Lin Yi looked at Han Jingjing's innocent little face. Sometimes he was really confused. Was this genius girl really sent by God? But when he couldn't solve the problem of alchemy, Han Jingjing appeared. From the perspective of traditional alchemy, Han Jingjing wasn't considered a genius. She had a single fire attribute physique. It could be said that she was trash among the elixir refiners. But when it came to Han Jingjing, this single fire attribute had become her advantage. Although she didn't have the wood attribute to sense the changes in the medicinal herbs in the cauldron, Han Jingjing could use a more scientific and accurate curve function to replace it. This was like the difference between a handicraft workshop and an assembly line. Chapter 2197. However, the craftsmanship of the workers on the assembly line might be much worse than that of the shoemaker. but as long as they knew how to control the assembly line machines and produce shoes according to the prescribed steps, the shoes produced would be exactly the same in terms of quality and specifications. This was the advantage brought by the assembly line. Han Jingjing's current method of alchemy was completely the same as the assembly line of a factory. The pills produced were the same in terms of quality and specifications. And because of the mass production, it was even more time-saving and resource-saving than a manual workshop, right? You coiling tiger, return the information to me, Han Jingjing said, as she passed the information to Lin Yi. And I'll find time to return it to boss by later. Lin Yi nodded. Right, I'm planning to leave for a while in a few days. During this time, you should stay at home and practice alchemy. Go to school with Meng Yao and Yushu every day. And Lin Yi Gidge, Jingjing will take care of myself. Han Jingjing didn't ask much about Lin Yi's whereabouts. Also, the fact that you know how to make pills, especially the fact that you can make multiple pills in one cauldron, don't ever mention it to anyone. Not even Boss Bai. Lin Yi reminded. Especially you, Panhu, don't tell him. One must always be on guard. Although Lin Yi trusted Boss Bai, who could guarantee that Han Jingjing wouldn't be eavesdropped when she spoke. If this matter was spread out, it wouldn't be a good thing for Han Jingjing no matter what. And then Jingjing won't say anything. Jingjing will listen to Lin Yi Gidge. Han Jingjing agreed without thinking. Jingjing. Lin Yi wanted to ask Han Jingjing if she liked alchemy since birth. Why was she so close to him? But this question circled around in Lin Yi's mind. He shook his head and decided not to ask. In any case, Han Jingjing shouldn't have any malicious intent towards him. Otherwise, she wouldn't have told him all her secrets. It should be known that with Han Jingjing's current state of alchemy, even the heavenly elixir sect would treat her like an honored guest. However, Han Jingjing didn't hide anything from him. And Han Jingjing raised her head, her big, watery eyes looking at Lin Yi, confused. It's fine. Lin Yi shook his head and returned to his senses. Xinyan hadn't returned from her lunch break yet. Bai Weiduo and Zhao Xingji weren't there either, probably having lunch with Yimeiwei. As expected, Bai Weiduo, Zhao Xingji and Wang Xinyan walked into the classroom together. Wang Xinyan was usually a lone wolf, but she couldn't reject Bai Weiduo's invitation today, probably because of what happened last night. Bai Weiduo insisted on dragging me to lunch. I had no choice. I had no other choice. Xinyan said, helplessly shaking her head. They think you're my girlfriend. Lin Yi said, oh. Xinyan replied, and didn't say anything else. She sat back in her seat. Right, I'll be going out for a couple of days. I'll be gone for half a month at most. Lin Yi needed to tell Xinyan that he was going out. After all, the two of them had gotten closer, and Xinyan was very concerned when Lin Yi left last time. Going out again, Xinyan's heart tightened. She didn't want him to leave, but she didn't know what it was exactly. And I need to help a friend. We'll go somewhere together. Lin Yi said, be careful. I'll take notes for you. Xinyan didn't want him to leave, but she didn't ask him to stay. She knew that Lin Yi wouldn't stay even if she did. Thanks. Lin Yi smiled. Xinyan nodded and started flipping through her book. Sometimes, Lin Yi felt that his relationship with Xinyan was special. Sometimes it felt like they were really close, but most of the time, it was the kind of friendship between gentlemen that was as thin as water. It was very calm, but very warm. It was as if the two of them were supposed to be like this, sitting together and studying every day. The afternoon passed quickly. Xinyan looked at Lin Yi and asked faintly, today, another night study session? Lin Yi understood what Xinyan meant. She wanted to create an environment for him. Not today. I'll be leaving tomorrow. I have something to do tonight. Lin Yi said, oh. Xinyan didn't know why, but she was a little disappointed. Okay, plus there are a lot of people in the classroom. I can't carry you. Linny teased. You're annoying. Sinyan pursed her lips and blushed. I'll be leaving first. Have a safe trip. Haha, okay, Linny said. Sinyan hugged her book and ran out of the classroom. She didn't dare look back. Her heart was beating fast as she thought about what Linny said. Was Lin E flirting with her? This bastard. She was already nice enough to let him go, and he still wanted more? But thinking that Lin E was leaving soon, Sinyan didn't want to argue with him. Her relationship with him gave her a headache. He had even accepted one of his cars yesterday. If his family knew about this, who knew what they would think? Big brother Lin E, do you like Sister Sinyan? Han Jingjing put away her tablet and walked out of the classroom with Lin E. A little. Linny didn't deny it. Oh, then, do you want to go after Sister Sinyan? Han Jingjing nodded. Lin E looked into Han Jingjing's eyes. He didn't see any impurities or dissatisfaction. It was still very clear. This made Lin E feel that Han Jingjing didn't have any bad feelings for Sinyan. Why are you asking? Lin E was curious. I'm afraid that you won't like me after you have Sister Sinyan. You won't have time to be with me anymore. Han Jingjing looked at Lin E worriedly. Of course not. I still need you to make pills for me. Lin E said, just concocting pills. Han Jingjing suddenly felt a little down. What if one day Lin E bro becomes even better than Jing Jing at concocting pills? Do I still need Jing Jing? Ugh. Lin E paused. So Han Jingjing had known all along that he didn't know how to concoct elixirs, and only told him the truth today. So this girl was just flattering him before. This made Lin E a little ashamed. Let's not talk about whether I know how to concoct elixirs or not. Even if I did, I'm not as smart as Jing Jing to invent a scientific concoction method. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories